I don't like watching anime all in one day. Like that's how I watch. Here's our transition. That's how I watched Kyousougiga, and I think it suffered. My experience suffered as a result of it, where I don't really remember a lot that happened in Kyousougiga. Consequently, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good, but I just do not remember much of what happens in it anymore.
See, I feel
for
like
some things I like that. I like it because it's like you feel like you really just watch a character grow in a short amount of time. It's like you've really been there for them, you know? You've seen it all.
It depends on the show. Like, sometimes I'll like watching it all one day. Sometimes it feels like it's better just consumed
to let it,
daily or weekly or whatever. I do feel like Kyousougiga for me kind of suffered because I went and watched the ONA and OVA before the TV series aired, like in preparation for it. And so when the TV series is basically just like expanding on all that, so like the first episode is basically just the ONA or the OVA again.
Yeah.
And then the first, was it 3 or 4 episodes or so were just like the ONAs that aired after the OVA just expanded on. I was like, oh, like it's kind of it cheapened, like it kind of soured the experience a little bit for me. I still liked it, but it was just like I was like, I wish I just hadn't watched the stuff beforehand because I would have liked the show a lot more, I think, if this was all just new.
Yeah, I did not watch like the ONA or OVA, so
yeah, I was expecting like you had to have watched the stuff before to be able to like this stuff because it hadn't aired yet, so no one knew what it was. And then like it was just like a remake and like a re-airing of the OVA and then like expanding on the other ONA series. It does have like all original stuff in those episodes and in the last half of the show or whatever. But I don't know, it just kind of soured it like that first bit where I was like, oh.
Rie Matsumoto is a very good director, and I would like to see her do more TV series.
Oh, well, she was supposed to do that movie, but the Kadokawa producer like got scared or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's the story. So I had watched Kyousougiga because I really, I watched the first episode of Kekai Sensen back when it came out, and I thought it was, like, the greatest thing I had ever seen in my life. I thought it was, like, I watched it, like, 10 times that week or something. Yeah. So I absolutely loved that show, and so I was like, yeah, I knew that it was Kyousougiga was a big deal even before that had come out, because people were announcing Kekai Sensen being like, Trigun and Kyousougiga, sort of thing. So I'd watched it, but I also I remember seeing the ONA first, and then when I watched the TV show, I did feel a little underwhelmed. And the other thing was, it's weird because for what it seems like to me, the common opinion seems to be that Kekai Sensen is like disappointing compared to Kyousougiga, but honestly, I like Kekai Sensen like significantly more than Kyousougiga. Like Kyousougiga's good. It's not bad. It's very well made. Koto's cute. I liked the scientist too. She was really good.
All the characters are really likable, I'd say.
Yeah, and they're really quirky. Like the world is interesting.
Yeah, it's a really just fun time, really.
I would say the world of Kyousougiga was more inspired than Kekai Sensen's. It's like as just like a base like when you're looking at it, you're like, oh, this is much more fun to look at than Kekai Sensen. But like as like
I
an
disagree
episode
with that. I love looking at my own city. So
ultimately, like Kyousougiga is about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
Oh god damn it!
I mean, it is.
But I will say Kekai Sensen like had better episode direction, I think. Like there were episodes that like the boxing and like the chess episode, like those episodes stand out more as like individual episodes to me than like any individual episode of like Kyousougiga necessarily.
The chess episode of Kekai Sensen, they were literally playing 4D chess.
Literally playing chess. Yeah.
But no, Kyousougiga, I would like to watch it again because obviously, like I was really, I hope Scent's doing all right, but there was a channel, Scent Anime Stuff, that we used to all do a podcast together, myself, Joe from Pause and Select, Scent Anime Stuff, and a few other folks. And Kyousougiga was his favorite anime. and he wanted to be the king of Kyousougiga content on YouTube. So he made like a bunch of Kyousougiga videos, one of which was just a flat out synopsis of the entire show.
You might have seen one of those videos.
So, like, since, like, love of Kyousougiga made me feel like, oh, man, you know, I kind of want to get more into Kyousougiga.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it kind of rubbed off on me, but I never rewatched the show, so I haven't seen it in, like, since 2015, I think, is when I watched it. So I'd love to watch it again, honestly.
What's funny is, like, Kyousougiga aired, like, the show it kind of reminded me of was a show that was airing alongside Yozakura Quartet.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like the girl, like Koto and what is the main girl in Yozakura? Hime.
Yeah.
Like how they had like the big weapon and then like the
I can definitely see the
that.
resemblance.
And the
They
Sakuga.
Yeah, the Sakuga. Fucking Yozakura Quartet, like, is kind of fucking underrated. Like, everyone talks about Kyousougiga as like an underrated show, but no one ever talks about Yozakura Quartet.
Yeah, this is the first time I'm hearing of it. So
the animation of it is so fucking good, like consistently. Because it's made by like the WebGen guys, right?
Yeah, it's basically Yoshimo and then like all of his WebGen friends.
Yeah. I mean, like, as like a concept, it's kind of, you know, not anything special or spectacular. You know, it's just like a city, and you got a class president who's like a guardian kind of whatever.
Well, she's the mayor.
Yeah, she's the mayor. It's fine as like a but like just it was kind of just fun. Like, there's like the whole like I was showing somebody the other day a clip from it, where it's like the ogre girl like saving the two kids from the car, and she's like, and she fucking just cracks their necks. It was like such a fucking jarring experience, like the first time, because she's like saving them, and there's like, and just blood goes out their mouth.
Yeah, that's a good scene.
That was fucking awesome. I was
also
what
like the scene where they play Just Dance.
Yeah, they do play a dancing game, a rhythm game or whatever.
I think it's supposed to be Just Dance for Wii.
There's so much just like fun shit in that show. And then like the fights end up being like really fucking cool. Like the powers where like that one girl can just like spawn whatever the fuck, and like just like bites her tongue and shit because she's like talking so fucking fast, and like shit's just like flying everywhere. God, that was such a fun show.
Yeah, it's interesting because I watched the old one first. And the reason I did that was because there was a little chart that was going around of like the Yozakura Quartet watch order where it was like skip the 2008 show, and I was like, you can't tell me what to do. So I watched all of it. And I like the 2008 show fine enough. I think it's just like there's stuff about the 2008 show, like in terms of the story, with dynamics that you don't really get in the Hana no Uta show. But the Hana no Uta show, it has such like sheer production to it that like the 2008 one can't match, because that one's directed by Ko Matsuo, who did Red Garden, did Kurenai, and then went on to do Valvrave in 2013. But you don't really see like his style of like directing much in Yozakura Quartet. It feels kind of, the production feels more like kind of, to me, an average 2008 anime. But it was still kind of an interesting experience to see kind of like a different interpretation of the story. But I do think that Hana no Uta like is definitely of very high quality, and that can't be denied, in my opinion.
Yeah, production wise for sure. Another like fun show that season was fucking Samurai Flamenco.
Oh,
Samurai
Christ.
Flamenco is awesome.
Like that was
you hate it, don't you?
I don't hate it. I just don't appreciate a lot about it.
Haven't you described it as like kick-ass but insane?
So okay, it starts off, and you start like when it first starts, you think it's gonna be like kick-ass because it's like, it's just some actor pretty boy who's like a chuuni and wants to be a tokusatsu hero. And so he goes out and just buys like shoulder pads and
Right.
like a helmet and shit, and like goes out to like stop crime, but he doesn't have any kind of training, so he's just like getting his ass kicked.
Mm-hmm.
And like
Yeah, he's just Moomin Rider.
Yeah, it is basically just kick ass. And then like he kind of goes through like a training arc, and you're like, oh yeah, this is he's gonna have to like fight with like being a normal person. Should be interesting. You'll be able to have like the ups and downs. And then there's a very particular episode where it kind of goes along like this for like 8 episodes, I think. And then like toward the end of the 8th episode, they just, I would say they jumped the shark, but it's more like they jumped the gorilla. They jumped the monkey.
What?
Chomping chimpanzee.
Guillotine gorilla.
Slicing simian. What's his name again?
Yeah, it's guillotine gorilla.
What? Ostracizing orangutan?
What the fuck are you talking about? Do you have like a thesaurus out right now?
Okay, I guess minor spoilers for like halfway through Samurai Flamenco. It kind of builds up this, kind of grounded, kick-ass kind of series, and then like this creature called Guillotine Gorilla like appears at the police station and just starts decapitating police officers with like a guillotine in his chest, and you're like, what the fuck? Like he was just fighting some dudes on the street. Like what is this? Like this is a normal show.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I don't really agree with that perception though. I don't think it was normal up to that point. Because people who say that forget that Flamenco Girl gets introduced earlier, and her big introduction is she crashes a van through a wall, and then starts like tasing people, and like beating the crap out of them.
Yeah, that's
in, like,
a little bit like
ways.
That's a little bit at the edge,
to it.
But it's not it's not a fucking like giant space monkey with a guillotine in his chest.
No, I think it builds up to it more than people say it does.
Like, I mean, that's fair. Like, it's one of those things where if you were expecting it more, or you weren't expecting something different, it might not bother you as much. So, like, I imagine a lot of people that might go watch it based on that description of me saying a fucking guillotine gorilla comes and like starts killing people, probably won't feel the same way as like people who watched it as it was airing did, considering like we were watching it week to week, like, god damn, this is gonna be cool. Yeah. This would be like kick ass, and then like it turned into something else. But yeah, I don't hate the show. It's not like a terror. It's also Man Globe.
I know you recommended it to me, being like, yeah, you'd probably really like this. I still have not seen it, so
yeah. I think as a show, like the way Mumi describes things in this podcast is actually very valuable in my opinion, because like, to me it's like, because like you watched a lot of this stuff as it was airing or close to it, I feel like there's very different expectations compared to like how I watched it, right?
Yeah.
Because like by the time I watched it, I never had heard the end of freaking Guillotine Gorilla. It's like it was already everywhere because I had seen it like years after the fact.
Yeah.
So for me, when I watch it, I'm already kind of going in with
the knowledge of Guillotine
Gorilla.
Gorilla.
Specific understandings. So it's very easy for me to look at it and be like, yeah, but Flamenco Girl is also like pretty wacky. Definitely more so than just the initial few episodes of the show. But I'm also kind of looking for those details because I already know, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
That's what I was saying. Like that kind of thing is like, yeah, when you look back, it's like, yeah, okay, yeah. But in the moment, it just kind of feels like the stretching of like that concept. Where you're like, okay, she's just like she's almost like a hit girl or whatever, right? Like Hit Girl was a bit like that, where it was a bit over the top, but it was still within that kind of constraint of kick ass.
I've never seen Kick Butt, so I'll take your word for it. But
I guess speaking of kick butt.
Oh yeah. By the way, there's the scene in Samurai Flamenco that I really like of Mari, who's a flamenco girl. She just takes the flowers from the vase and she just stuffs them in her mouth.
I fucking forgot that shit. It's so fucking stupid.
And it's such a wonderful screen cap. I love posting it. It's great.
Yeah, speaking of kick butt, let's talk about Suck Butt. Galilei Donna sucks fucking ass.
What the
that
fuck?
show is really fun to talk about.
What show?
All right, so like it's interesting, right? Because you have, wait, I'll have you start out because you segued it. So,
I mean, you can go. That's fine.
Okay. So like Galilei Donna is interesting, right? Because you have Umetsu, right, who's this acclaimed animator, you know, Kite, Mezzo Forte, the less acclaimed, you know, Mezzo DSA, and Kite Liberator. And he comes back for original anime, Noitamina time slot, Aniplex, big deal. Only one problem. He wrote the show as a 2-core series, and now he has to trim it down. And
Oh no.
and the thing is, it starts out really interesting because it's a group of sisters. It's 3 sisters, and they're all hunting for treasure. And it's a beautiful looking show. The characters look great. I really love the designs and like the outfits. I really love like the setting of it. Looks really good. And the initial writer of those episodes is Hideyuki Kurata, who also did a similar thing with like a group of sisters going on an adventure with Read or Die the TV back 10 years prior in fall 2003 season.
Yeah.
So you think I thought at first it was kind of going in that direction, but because it's so truncated, it's not even that it's truncated. It's just constantly like people think Samurai Flamenco is the wacky one. I honestly thought Galilei Donna was even wackier.
Because, well, it's like all over the fucking place.
Yeah, like some episodes it'll just be like she fall like the main girl, Hazuki is her name?
Yeah, Hozuki.
It's Hazuki, Kazuki, and Hozuki?
Hozuki is the little one. And then Hazuki is the oldest, and Kazuki is the middle.
Yeah, I know Kazuki is the middle child. And it's a shame because I like all those characters, but like, it's like you'll have stuff. Oh yeah, there is the scene where Kazuki is talking to that like old guy, that guy who like doesn't bathe, and there's a scene of her just like making this face where it's like, he smells really bad. I like that face.
Yeah, Hozuki is really cute in the show.
Yeah, but like the main girl, she like falls from like a cliff or something, and she like gets sick from it. Like she doesn't injure herself, she just like gets ill. I think I recall. I'm like, what? And there's just constant weird twists, but it culminates in this epic finale where Umetsu manages to transition from Galilei Donna to the show he's directing in the winter 2014 season, Wizard Barristers, because Kazuki, the big thing is she's the oldest sister and she's studying to become a lawyer. So they have to actually go to court and, you know, defend themselves in court. And they get to use Hazuki's lawyer skills. But the thing is, there's like this old guy, and then the old guy is revealed to be like that other, like the hat dude in disguise. He was just like wearing like a mask or something. It's just like unbelievably insane. Like it's so all over the place. But, you know, it was a good transition into Wizard Barristers the next season, which was about, you know, lawyers, magical lawyers that like stop people.
Yeah, he did not have a good run.
No, Wizard Barristers got whacked out too.
Oh god.
With that like episode 12 being unfinished, which props to Umetsu, he like delayed the Blu-rays for Wizard Barristers to make sure like episode 12 looked extra nice, but
it's kind of too late at that point. I think
honestly I kind of preferred the TV broadcast just because it was kind of funnier. And I thought the story of Wizard Barristers was kind of boring, so
yeah. It was like a clusterfuck, but it wasn't like it could be fun, but it was like kind of just bad.
Yeah, Galilei Donna was just a ride. That was a wild ride. I actually think that was almost as wild as Samurai Flamenco. Less so because it was shorter, but
Samurai Flamenco, Valvrave, and Galilei Donna. What a fucking wild ride that was. Smokes. All in one fucking season. Alongside
another wacky show to come out this season is Kill la Kill.
Oh, yeah, Kill la Kill is nothing.
Did it
It was
save
nothing
anime?
compared
Kill la Kill is otherwise, Kill la Kill has had like no like lasting impact on like whatever the fuck Donna you were just talking about.
Galilei Donna.
Coppelion.
Coppelion. Everyone remembers Coppelion. Come on.
I don't know. Everyone's
Coppelion, I
talked
just
about Kill la
remember
Kill.
seeing
Everyone's
the
talked about
DVDs at Best Buy and no one buying
all
them.
of these big four that are this season: Kill la Kill, Beyond the Boundary, Golden Time, Log Horizons. Those have been talked to death, basically.
Oh no, this season is stacked. Like
yeah, Nagi no Asukara. I need to go back and finish at some point.
like that was one that everyone kind of liked to shit on. I did kind of enjoy it, but I'm also like kind of a sucker for just stupid like shit like Anohana
My
and
main
stuff.
issue is an issue I have with a lot of Mario Kart stuff, which is that it doesn't really build the melodrama. Instead, it's just kept at like a static level through the entire thing.
Yeah. I mean, in a way that kind of makes it more tolerable for me, I guess, because if it went like too far, it would get like grating to me.
See, I like a bit more of an arc. Something like like Toradora. I think there's more of like an arc there, which I guess that's where our opinions differ.
Yeah, I don't like Toradora.
I generally like Okada Mari's work. And I like stuff that's like melodrama stuff because I'm a bit of a sap. I like that kind of stuff. But,
yeah.
With Nagiasu, I really liked the first half of it.
Okay.
But then there's a time skip, and I could not get into it like at all. I just lost interest.
I plan on going back and finishing it at some point.
I remember it just being like there's a part in the time skip where what's her name? I think it's Chisaki. She tries on her old uniform that she doesn't fit into anymore. And it's just this really cringy scene because she like gets caught trying on her old uniform. I know it's like the intentions of the scene, right, is to show kind of like, because the fish people, when they hibernate, right, they don't grow up, right? Their aging stops when they hibernate, if I recall correctly.
Right.
And so she does not hibernate, so she is grown. So that scene kind of conveys that. I just thought it was a really cringy scene.
Well, it's supposed to be conveying like her feelings of like, because she had a crush on Hikari, and it's kind of like her kind of, it's a manifestation of her dilemma of like, oh, will he like be able to recognize me as like, have I changed so much that like he's gonna be like weirded out by me kind of thing, and so she's trying to like, she's putting the more, it's more to like get the visual of like how much she actually is. Like she was trying to say like if she kind of could still look the same, not necessarily like she was gonna like wear her old outfit, but it's just like her kind of, again, like people do that.
Yeah, well, it's. I thought it was kind of like an element of like sentimentality as well, right?
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I just really didn't care for that second half for some reason.
That's fair.
Because like that wasn't the only scene I found cringy. Like, there were scenes before that with, like, that guy who was essentially there just to get rejected.
Oh, yeah, the fucking... the nice guy
that
or
poor
whatever.
Dude. Yeah, the nice guy.
Kaname?
Yeah, he's just there to get rejected, pretty much, because...
Like, I felt bad for him, because, like, he gets put into hibernation and, like, doesn't have anybody else, kind of thing.
No,
so, like, they wake up and he's just by himself.
Maybe it hit a little too close to home.
Like, he's had a crush on the Chisaki girl, but then, like, he doesn't have a family or anything, so he's just kind of, like, just this fifth wheel kind of guy.
Yeah, no.
Like, damn.
Yeah, no. Maybe it was, like, an Origairu thing for me. I don't know. Either way, for some reason, and it's weird, because I know some people who say, like, oh, it's the time skip with Nagiasu. For me, that really kind of puts it over the edge and makes it, so good and so memorable. And I can't really argue with that because it's kind of an interesting way to take it with that kind of story.
Yeah.
There's another drama show that came out this season that I would really like to get around to watching, White Album 2, which is fairly beloved from what I understand. I really like the director, Masao Ando.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of...
I feel like it's...
stuff I like and some stuff I hate.
People.
Yeah, I honestly, the only people I know who really seem to like it are visual novel people, and it seems like a lot of the people I know think it's like terrible, which is weird because I've seen White Album 2 twice now, and I think it's a phenomenal series.
No,
I was really impressed with it.
Yeah, I really like the series. I think like a lot of people just don't like the concept of like the ending not being like the people they want to get together getting together. And, like,
I think just a lot of people too have like, I don't know. It seems like to me, a lot of folks just don't seem to like these kinds of romance stories in general. Because like, I think too, like the male leads of these shows tend to kind of take a lot of the heat. But I don't know. I really liked all the characters, and I liked kind of the friendship they built, you know, creating art together and seeing how these feelings they had were kind of tearing them all apart in a sense.
I like stories like that.
Yeah, I really
and
like
Maruto, the writer of it, went on to do Saikano, which was also kind of a similar thing of sort of this group of friends creating art together and then kind of being torn apart by it. But that was more so to do with like them being kind of in over their heads and, you know, issues with leadership and communication. But that was played in a bit more, like, it had a lot of drama, Saikano, but it was definitely played a lot more comedic, whereas, like, White Album 2 is just, like, it doesn't mess around. So
Yeah,
it's a
White
very
Album 2.
different approach.
Not related to White Album 1 at all, is it?
White Album 1, it takes place, like, I don't know, 20 years after? Because White Album 1's in the 80s, and it focuses on the singer that sings Sound of Destiny, which they perform, as well as White Album, which they perform in the show for the school festival.
Okay.
I think they take
White
place in the
Album
same
1,
school, but like,
yeah,
they're not
White
really that
Album 1 is
related.
also like insanely well directed too.
Yeah, I really like the director for White Album 2.
Wait, Mumi, what were you saying about White Album 1? Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, I think they take place in the same school, but I think that's really like the only connection, really.
Okay.
Like
They might.
Yeah.
they're not like direct sequels or anything.
Yeah, I did watch all of White Album 1, and I wasn't like, the characters didn't quite catch my attention the same way 2 did. But White Album 1 also looks, like, insanely good.
Let's see. What else do we got this season?
All the other great shit. Got fucking
Gundam Build Fighters.
I didn't watch Gundam Build Fighters.
I know, that's another one Kanata really likes.
All I know Gundam Build
Kanata
Fighters
to talk about Gundam Build Fighters.
What I've been told Gundam Build Fighters is a cash grab with soul.
A soulful cash grab?
A soulful cash grab. Not a soulless cash grab, a soulful cash grab.
The only thing I know about Gundam Build Fighters is the MILF.
I don't know.
Literally it. But there's a MILF.
Coppelion.
Coppelion is basically just like a fucking backgrounds wallpaper anime. Like, whoever worked on the backgrounds need a raise.
What studio is
everything
this?
Like, even the characters did not mesh well with the background.
Yeah,
that's because it's like, Studio Go Hands.
Okay. And you know all those.
Coppelion was kind of a shit show.
I feel like everything else from Go Hands is just gonna make me nauseous if I watch it.
Princess Lover probably wouldn't make you nauseous.
Hold on.
Just imagine anime Stalker, but with schoolgirls.
Oh, interesting.
Instead of Russians, yeah.
Yeah,
it's kind of like.
So wait, the only thing I remember is it was in Best Buy a lot back when the DVD released here.
So this manga is pre-311, but it's about a nuclear plant meltdown. Interesting.
So what you're saying is they predicted it.
They predicted 311, yes.
God damn. No one talks about this. Why doesn't anyone talk about how Coppelion predicted 311?
Why doesn't anyone talk about it?
We have to hear about how The Simpsons and Deus Ex all predicted 9/11. We don't hear about Coppelion predicting 3/11.
What else?
I guess as far as like anime of the season for me is probably Non Biyori.
Really, not Kill la Kill.
Not Kill la Kill, not Non
That's
Biyori.
a surprising take.
What?
My anime of the season, and probably my anime of the year for 2013, would have been Kill la Kill. And as far as TV series goes, it is. But a couple of weeks ago, we watched this short film that aired in the fall season, Shashinkan.
Oh, I watched that today so that I could talk about it on here.
It is one of the best things I've ever seen.
I'm surprised y'all hadn't seen it before that. Like,
it
recently.
is. Yeah. It's really good. It's
because I don't like watching shorts. Because every time I do, people accuse me of bloating my lists. So I don't like watching shorts.
I only do that when people watch like a shit ton of music videos all at once, and they like add like 50, and you're just like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
You don't need to watch 50 music videos in a row. Come on.
Or at least have
I also quite liked it. It was like
project.
wacky photographer guy.
Yeah.
It was great.
I really like it. I could talk for quite a while about it, but I would like to jot my thoughts down, which I didn't because I didn't know it aired in 2013.
I watched it because it was Studio Colorido.
Yeah.
And it's just went on a binge of like all their shit essentially at one point.
It looks really nice.
Takeshi Nakamura, who did Tree of Palm, Fantastic Children, Harmony.
Yeah. He's done some bangers.
Catnapped. Yeah.
Speaking of Colorido, I think Kanata was this I don't want to say the Japanese name. Rain in the Sunshine, I think that was also 2013. It's another Colorido short.
Let me see here. What's it called? Rain in the Sunshine?
Hinata no Aoshigure.
Yeah, 2013, yeah.
That looked pretty good, like nice.
Okay.
I think a lot of problem I have with Ishida's works in general is just they're kind of too short up until Penguin Highway.
Penguin Highway, another Tomihiko Morimi adaptation that I need to watch.
Like Raintown and Paulette's Chair, like bangers. Like they work for that concept. But then like
Paulette's Chair is peak. You know, it's the Noitamina intro.
Yeah. It's also 2014, so we can't acknowledge it exists.
Back to marijuana. That's what the Noitamina intro is. It's back to marijuana, but reversed.
What?
I'm pretty sure it's just saying animation backwards.
I think it's just animation.
No. So like the Noitamina block, back when like shows would stream on like Crunchyroll or whatever, like for Ping Pong or for like all those, when they aired on that block, they would have the intro. Well, Ping Pong was Funimation, but they'd have the intro, right? And the intro was just this guy speaking backwards.
Yeah.
But if you actually reverse it, he's saying back to marijuana. There's a video you can find.
Are you sure he's just not saying? This might be like hearing like the devil's message in like Led Zeppelin albums.
No. He's saying back to marijuana. That's definitely what he's saying.
All right, so it's Psyotic here in post, and I decided to just check this real quick because I was curious. So here's the Noitamina intro just played normally. All right, and it doesn't really sound like anything's being said, but here is the audio in reverse.
Back to marijuana.
So, yeah, what the fuck? Roger was right, I guess. Back to the show.
Turn me on, dead man.
But yeah, Shashinkan is just a really great short film.
They did a lot of shit in 2013. They did that.
Yeah, it touches the soul.
Touches the soul, and I just like the idea of like photography literally capturing a specific moment in time, and then sort of being able to reflect on that as time passes is very interesting.
Yeah. I also want to know how old that photographer guy is, because he must have been pretty old.
He must have been
pretty young, I should say, when he started out.
I guess, yeah.
Well, speaking of like shorts that were really good from that season, Golden Time.
Was Golden Time?
We're not talking about.
We're not talking about the Toradora. The thing from the author of Toradora.
I think actually that Golden Time came first, right? Because it was based off a light novel, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
but
the other Golden Time is just an original. So
yeah, it's just an original short film.
But I don't know which was conceived first.
Almost certainly the light novel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Golden Time, the short film is also really great. I also just have like an affinity for things about like inanimate objects. So
I don't even know that was available though. Like back when it aired, I don't know when that actually got put up online.
I'd be very surprised if it was. A lot of these, especially stuff like this, these more like art house films, are not made available online until much, much later because they do all these like screenings at festivals and stuff. And then once that has died down a few years later, then it'll be put up online. People will rip it and then upload it, around the internet.
Oh, fuck, I gotta swap the fucking tape over. Hold on 1 fucking second. Alright. There we go.
Did any of y'all watch Majokko Shimai no Yoyo to Nene?
Oh, we're just getting into it? I have no idea what. Yeah, he has.
Yeah, I've watched it.
I remember I watched it because it was UFO Table, and I was like, oh, this is going to look really good. I'm really looking forward to this magical girl witch-esque anime with UFO Table.
Yeah.
And I don't remember any of it.
Oh, man. I thought it was really good, but, everybody I talk to now thinks it's bad. And I'm like, what?
I didn't think it was, like, terrible, but it was just kind of like, whatever, I guess.
I thought it was cool. It's like, it's not like new UFO Table, post-Kara no Kyoukai style. It's like old, like, Futakoi alternative, Dokoida Shinobuden, Manabi Straight. It's that style of UFO Table where it's like very energetic. I believe the director of this also was one of the directors for Manabi Straight. I know that show doesn't really have a consistent director. But he was one of the main creative voices on it. And I believe on Futakoi Alternative as well. I know he did Pompo, which had come out the other year as well. So
yeah, Pompo was pretty good.
Pompo's good.
So this had a lot of that energy. I thought it was really enjoyable.
Pompo wasn't UFO Table, was it?
No, it wasn't.
No.
I don't think he works at UFO Table anymore, but I think he might have always been freelance, to be honest.
We didn't really talk about Patema before. I think you just said that it looked like they were gonna body slam each other.
Yeah, it does. Because I saw the movie. Because I saw the movie when it came out in theaters, right? And when I did, I saw it with my sister, and we got like a poster. And the poster was the same one on the cover of the movie, more or less. It was the same character layout. The image itself was a little different, but you flip the poster over the other way, and that's what it looks like. So I'm like, what the heck?
It's a good movie. It's kind of weird. And I don't know. Some things probably aren't really fleshed out like as well as they should be.
Holy shit!
Oh my god! Is someone breaking into your house? Right? What the fuck are they?
I fucking hate this fucking.
Don't mess with this doggo. That's the title of one of the RetroCrush clickbait videos on Fuse.
Oh, if I fucking I have such mixed feelings when it comes to RetroCrush's YouTube channel.
I love RetroCrush's YouTube channel. The Kyousougiga one, if we're talking about 2013, the RetroCrush did the Kyousougiga clickbait. It's not up anymore, but it was like super powered tsundere or something.
6 reasons why Kaiba is the most what the fuck anime ever. Using the toilet in front of your girlfriend is true love. When you wake up hungover with a hole in your chest. Jesus. He can't handle his first period in his new female body. How are you selling this show?
Oh wait, what's that one where it's like Joe unleashes his inner One Punch Man and defeats the enemy with one punch or something? I think that's for the Ashita no Joe movie.
Hold on, there's one for like for Jinro. Oh, they had one for Jinro that just spoiled the ending of the movie.
But the one I was referring to, Don't Mess with This Doggo, that was not the original title of that Fuse one. It was originally like Girl Gets Impregnated by Dog.
What? What?
But they changed it to Don't Mess with This Doggo.
What the fuck?
Oh my god. What were we talking about? We were talking about Patema Inverted.
Yeah.
But Patema Inverted was kind of weird because like I remember like when it was coming out, it kind of getting a little bit of buzz behind it and people kind of like trying to get behind it. I don't know, it kind of almost felt like Kimi no Nawa in a way, like online. Where people were like kind of push like, oh, it's a love story about people who are upside down.
People who are upside down.
No, one of them is upside down and the other is upside down because they're from their perspective, they're.
But the twist is the other one was actually upside down the whole time.
Whole world got turned upside down.
It's also made by Purple Cow Studio Japan. Purple Cow Studio Japan.
Is that the name of the studio?
Yeah.
One of them. Which is interesting because there was a Purple Cow restaurant that was that used to be by me.
Why does it specify Japan? Is there like a non-Japanese counterpart to this studio?
Yeah, it was the Purple Cow restaurant that used to be down in the south.
You can't be fucking serious.
Wait, Mumi, now that I think about it, now. You're in Texas, right? You could go visit the Sakuracon sushi place in the Sakuracon 2009 commercial.
Oh god, have you been there, Mumi? I feel like you have.
I don't know. I don't remember.
You could have been in that. You're old enough to have been in that original video.
I could have, but I wasn't in anime in 2009.
Well, it was filmed in 2008.
I was also not in anime. I stopped being in anime from like 2006 to 2011.
Oh, jeez, man.
I took like a 5-year break.
Damn, you really missed out. You could have been in one of the most hilariously cringe videos of all time.
But you liked manga at the time, so you could have been the one going, and manga.
What?
Because you were reading Naruto, right? I watched the shades.
That doesn't mean I liked manga.
You liked it enough to continue reading it, is all I'm saying.
See, we talked about this. That was just a sunk cost fallacy.
We really have nothing to say about Patema Inverted, do we?
There was actually a deleted scene in the Sakuracon commercial where there was supposed to be someone, I guess, like, I don't know if they were dressed up or something, but they were supposed to go Final Fantasy after gaming. But yeah, I guess it was never included. I saw it in the behind the scenes, when they're directing the scene together. But if you go to that sushi place, it was interesting. So Sakuracon is not in Texas, but the commercial was filmed in Texas.
Why?
Because it was filmed before, like, months ahead of time before the con was going on, and the people working on it were all from Texas. So
okay, that makes sense.
But the interesting thing about it is I found what the restaurant was, and I found the Yelp of it, and
what's the Yelp?
I forget what it's called. I posted it in Justice. If you search through it again, you can find me talk about it at some point.
I'll put it up there in the corner for anyone.
Well, see, the problem is you left Justice, so I can't actually search.
Well, no, you can. You just copy his name and like type from.
That's too complicated.
No, you could even just search Sakuracon because I don't really mention.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you look at the Yelp for that, you'll notice that they remodeled the place, so you wouldn't really recognize it because it doesn't look like it used to look. But I'm sure if you went there and you said Sakuracon ikimasu, I'm sure someone would know.
You'd be asked to leave.
We asked them politely yet firmly to leave.
So yeah, that's why Patema Inverted is actually a good movie.
I think we've successfully convinced everybody of that.
But yeah, I saw it, but I don't like thinking about it because it reminds me of how much of a freaking nitpicking stooge I was back then.
Oh, yeah, you could probably nitpick that movie.
No, I did nitpick it a lot. I still gave it a good score, though.
Oh, yeah. It's an alright movie.
It's fine. It's alright.
It's like an hour 40 minutes.
I remember the villain being kind of corny because it's like, oh, you're just scared of the other people, and it's like, I don't know. That felt like a little.
I'm not gonna lie, I still don't understand like why they were upside down.
It's
I don't know how that works.
It's like,
I don't know, man. I haven't seen the movie in 8 years, maybe 9.
Yeah, I mean, there was something like to do with a science experiment that like the group of people that were affected like reversed the gravitational thing.
It was something. Well,
something.
Because spoilers for the end of the movie. When they decide to go all the way and they find out, oh, there's more. And then they go, what a fucking cracked ending.
That was yeah.
Now that I think about it, wasn't
I'll
that
probably
the
cut
Eve
that,
no
but-
Jikan guy, right? Pale Cocoon as well.
Is it?
Yes. Yeah, it was Pale Cocoon. Yeah.
I have not
That's
seen any of
another
this
reason
guy's
why
other
people were like
works.
hyping it up.
Okay. Yeah, Time of Eve is a great movie.
I didn't watch the movie. I watched the OVA.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wait, never mind. I've seen Noisy
O&A.
Birth. I've seen that video. That's the only other work from
This didn't come
guy
out in
I've seen.
2013. No, this is 2008, 2009.
Yeah, I remember people hyping this shit up and being like, "Oh yeah, it's the Time of Eve guy. It's gonna be great."
I guess that's a review for Patema Inverted. Go watch Time of Eve.
Unfortunately, I didn't know what the heck any of those things were when I saw Patema Inverted.
You just like the sumo slam.
You just
fucking
thought it was
poster.
going to be a wrestling movie?
No. So what happened
Patema
was,
gets inverted.
no, so
It's a reversal.
I actually didn't know about the movie. My sister was just like, "Oh, there's a new anime movie. Want to go see it?" So I saw it.
Oh, you saw it in theaters.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters when it released over here.
Oh, okay.
I mean, when you think about it, isn't that the kind of relationship everybody wants, where like the girl has to hold your hand or she'll fall to her death?
Wait, isn't that just Handshakers, right? Where he like constantly has to hold her hand?
Yeah, until he doesn't. But yes, speaking of handshake, did we talk about Coppelion?
I think so.
I think we talked about the backgrounds.
Didn't we talk about how it
Did we?
like was predicting 311 or something? 'Cause the manga didn't come out yet.
Oh, yeah. Well, right. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
But we didn't talk about the high school delinquent girl that was infused with moray eel, electric eel shit.
What?
There was a delinquent girl who was fused with electric eel powers, and that was like her ability. Because it's not just like schoolgirls going through the apocalypse. No, they gotta have like superpowers going through the apocalypse, and that's why they just walk around looking like schoolgirls because they're super powered.
I just thought that
Whereas
it was
like other
like
people have to
drip.
wear like
I'm going to be real with you, Chief. I just filtered out everything you said.
Yeah, I thought
You
it
kinda
was just drip,
Kinda, like,
you know?
checked out mid-sentence.
you heard electric eel powers, or just being
I
like,
was,
what?
I was
No.
like, I got hung up on that. I was like, what the fuck? More eels aren't electric.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, is it
Um,
bad that I thought, there was a show in 2013 called Walkure Romance. Is it bad that I thought that was like a prequel to Macross Delta or something?
Why would you think
Because
that?
they're called
'Cause
Walkure.
Walkure? See, when that actually aired, I remember seeing like the character designs and thinking like it looked similar to like Utena. Like she just looks like a short-haired Utena with like the same kind of like outfit, like the school outfit or whatever.
I mean, it looks pretty aesthetic. I kind of like that style. But I haven't seen it. I just thought, oh, is this like Macross Delta?
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. But no, it has nothing to do with Cross Delta. We didn't talk. Okay, we didn't talk. Okay, we talked about Rebellion.
Yeah,
Yes.
you
Yeah,
talked
we talked
about
about
how you were
Rebellion.
like maniacally laughing in the theater.
Oh, yeah, the Schadenfreude.
Okay, I wasn't maniacally laughing. Okay? Let's not mischaracterize me here.
I guess that's how telephone works.
I feel like that characterization just paints me as like some kind of like Reddit neckbeard with a fedora, just sitting in the fucking theater, like just my fucking legs spread, like crushing two people next to me with my arms crossed, just laughing in the middle of the theater.
Just scarfing down popcorn. I think we ignored talking about Kill la Kill. Did any of you have anything
But we
to
could
say
talk about the last greatest fucking Ghibli movie ever created. Takahata's last work.
Oh, I thought you were
Takahata- the
talking
most
about
e-
The Wind Rises, because I was like, yeah, we talked about The Wind Rises.
Yeah, Tale of Princess Kaguya. It is
Yeah.
the most expensive Japanese movie ever made.
Yeah?
It's cost $49 million to make.
But Akira, a shame.
Yeah. I think mostly because they got a grant from some guy who worked at NHK who was just like, here's $50 million. Go hog wild.
It is interesting to see like the evolution of like Takahata's movies. Where it goes from like Ponpoko to the Yamadas to Kaguya stylistically. Because like you do see a lot of like, I guess what they would have learned on the Yamadas
Yeah.
kind of present in Kaguya.
it definitely still has some of his like stylistic sensibilities that you see even like in his really early stuff, like Kaguya no An. But yeah, it's much more.
He was able to cut the melon a lot quicker.
Yes. Princess Kaguya. I really like Princess Kaguya.
It's a good thing
Yeah,
Mal put
it's-
it in the award-winning genre. Otherwise, I wouldn't know the movie was any good.
Oh, is that a thing on my anime list?
Yes, it
now?
is.
I will say that before this, maybe after it, I did watch. There's a hentai version of The Tale of Princess Kaguya.
Oh, how does it stack up?
Well, they don't fuck. They barely fuck in the movie, quote unquote movie.
How's
It's
it
like,
a porn version if it's fucking? They don't even fuck. What the hell? So instead of like a bamboo shoot, it's just like I don't know.
well,
like a
so because you
dildo
know
that
how
comes out of the
like
ground?
they're like the three suitors in the movie. They basically like take turns running a train on her. Like for like 5 minutes at the very end of this. How long it was this fucking thing? It's 27 minutes. It's
Oh, I thought you
so
were gonna ask
boring,
about-
It's not well.
Princess Kaguya, the Ghibli movie. It's like 2 hours.
You gave it a 2.
Yeah,
Pretty low score.
it's pretty. It's pretty not good. It's pretty not sexy at all.
That's a shame. Maybe if Takahata directed it, it would have been better.
Why would you make this? Why would you make an erotic version of the Tale of Princess Kaguya?
I mean, clearly they never saw like, was it the French live action parody of Beauty and the Beast, where Beast like fucks the door or the clock or whatever, the wall, whatever it was.
That sounds like it goes hard as fuck.
What the heck?
Wait, have you never heard of this?
No. The
No.
only French movie I know is the one where the guy fucks a pig.
Yeah, it's a pretty infamous.
Are we just gonna watch
one.
porn for the rest of this podcast?
Yes.
I'm just gonna talk
No.
about.
Yeah, it's a pretty infamous one because like they like actually like did like special effects and shit. It's fucking bizarre.
But it's like a porn parody.
Right, from like the 80s.
Oh.
Or maybe the
Oh.
90s.
Oh.
You.
So wait, it predates Disney's?
Potentially.
Disney was that was
No.
93?
Disney's was 91.
No,
91? Okay.
I mean, I can't claim to be an expert on porn, all right? I can't this is an anime. I can't just like recite to you offhand what the fucking porn parody of
Oh.
What,
Beauty
you
and the
didn't take
Beast
what, you didn't
release.
take notes for this?
Well, don't worry. We can just
Well,
edit.
not
We
for-
can edit it in post,
not-
so that.
No, this
Yeah,
is all
just-
staying in.
just edit like a fucking the AI just saying whatever it's supposed to be saying.
I'll put a
was a great-
Pornhub link up in the top right.
That was a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Princess Kaguya, the Ghibli movie, not the one Sai was referring to.
Not the hentai.
in theaters.
Yeah, well, I think most
as
people,
well.
that's the case for most people.
Well, I don't think that one played in theaters, did it?
What, the hentai? Probably not.
Huh.
It's like an OVA.
I think I said OVA. I would have liked to see that in theaters.
What, the OVA or
guess I said-
the movie?
The fucking movie.
Is it
I think they
playing-
play it in like Ghibli fests all the fucking time during the summer. So maybe I should,
Yeah,
like, look into
I
it.
don't know if it's coming up this year, but it has in like previous years.
I feel like there's a theater somewhere within my like 30-mile vicinity that probably has a Ghibli fest sometime in the summer.
Well, Ghibli Fest is like a thing that it's like a thing that G Kids does, where it's just like it's a quote unquote festival, but really what it means is they just play like Ghibli movies all year.
Yeah. I remember
Maybe
going
like
to
9
a con.
months out of the year.
Going to a con, stopping by the G Kids booth. The around the time that they took Ghibli from Disney, and they had like the smuggest grin on their face the entire time.
I mean, hell yeah.
They were like really proud of themselves. They're like, we got Ghibli from that freaking mouse.
Even though I still think that Disney still partially owns like the movies or something, or has like it's some sort of weird licensing agreement, from what I understand.
Well, I imagine they'd have to because they're the ones that produce the dub.
Yeah, well, for some of them, for only yesterday, like that was a G Kids dub because Disney refused to dub it because they talk about periods.
Wait, was that really the reasoning?
That was really the reason.
So
and
periods,
it was either this doesn't get dubbed, or it was either we cut the period talk, or this doesn't get a dub.
Wait.
And they
So
were
periods are a problem, but the guy getting like his head chopped off in Mononoke is okay.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Imagine them seeing Turning Red. God damn.
Oh my god.
Well, that one didn't even have 9/11 in it, so
That one didn't even have 9/11.
Yeah, that was my problem with Only Yesterday. Is they never
referenced 9. You know what Ghibli movie does reference 9/11? The Cat Returns.
it does. I've never seen it.
Let's just say that the movie ends with a tower being blown up by the government.
Oh, I thought you said it was gonna be. I thought you were gonna say it was a disaster,
Oh no, it's a good
a
movie.
national tragedy. Fall also technically had the ending of Hidamari Sketch.
Yeah, I know. Saya and Hiro both graduated that year.
Yeah, the experience that is somehow like better than any individual season for me.
Honestly, I kind of wish I had graduated the same time they did, to be honest. I think they got out at the right time.
Wait, did you graduate before or after them?
Maybe, but I think they got out at the right time. You know,
Just this baby.
I'm just thinking to myself, you know, you can watch the Hidamari sketch graduation and you can be completely normal. And then, you know, then you see the scene of Natsume crying and then you're not normal anymore.
So ominous.
Well, that's how I felt about it.
Did we talk about Kyousougiga?
Yeah, we talked about
We
Kyousougiga. You have anything
did.
else you'd like to add about Kyousougiga?
No, I assume I would have said everything last time, so.
I felt like I hogged most of the convo with Kyousougiga, to be honest.
It was pretty good.
Pretty good. It's about family. I think I already made that joke.
It's about the friends we made along the way.
Oh, God.
The friends we made along the way and adopted into our family. See, like, Kyousougiga is kind of a weird one because, like, it's got like a weird, like, world and lore behind it.
Yeah, but it's never like, well, it's an original and it's never like completely explained or beat you over the head
No.
with it. It's just like, oh, they're in a painting. Yeah, all right. All right.
Yeah.
What? So what? Why? What? Okay.
I just like that it had I just like that it had Rie Kugamiya playing a girl with a giant hammer.
A giant hammer, hell yeah.
Yeah, I actually saw, I forget what con I was at. I did see a Koto cosplay one year, and she had a pretty epic hammer. It was a pretty good prop.
Was she make it out of resin or something?
No, she didn't get arrested.
No, a resin. Did she make it out of resin?
I don't know what that is. I thought you were asking if she got arrested.
No, resin's like a clear. It can be clear. It's like basically it's like it's soft and like you mold it into something and it turns hard. It's like plastic, but not.
Oh, maybe, I don't know. I'll send you the picture some other time, and you can determine for me if that was indeed the case. I'm not really an expert when it comes to these things. I will say though that if anyone's giving her any trouble, she could probably use that hammer reasonably as a weapon.
We'll put a pin in it. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, we'll come back. We'll edit it in post.
Yeah. Miss Monochrome. Did anybody watch Miss Monochrome?
No.
Yeah, I watched Mr. Monochrome. Yeah.
Oh, fucking course you did.
You say Mr. Monochrome?
I didn't say Mr. Monochrome. I said I watched Miss Monochrome.
Are you gaslighting me?
No.
That
Also, what's this? Of course you did. What?
Oh, no, I was making
I don't know.
a joke
Sai's
how
being
it's like,
passive aggressive because he hasn't seen any of
because
these.
they haven't fucking seen any of these. So I'm just like,
I mean, this was, I remember when I watched Miss Monochrome. Mumi, you can relate to this, I'm sure. Not at the time I did it, but, you know, I did not have a working computer at the time I watched Miss Monochrome.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any computer, so all I did all day was just watch random shows. So I watched the first 2 seasons of Miss Monochrome, but I didn't watch the last season of it until like last year or something. Where I was like, you know, I never did watch that last season of Miss Monochrome.
See, Miss Monochrome has like the kind of best like advertisement for a Nendoroid. Because she just puts on this massive head. She just looks like a Nendoroid. And then they made one.
Yeah, is the whole gimmick, right, is that she's like this idol trying to make it, but she's like really socially inept.
It's like one of those like really underrated like TV short anime for me. Where like, you know, it's like Poopy Po or something where like no one talks about it. I feel like Miss Monochrome's a little bit better off than like some of them. But
I think people are way too harsh on Miss Monochrome. I'm gonna say it right now.
I didn't realize there was a movement of people that were harsh on Miss Monochrome.
I think that was one of the reasons I left Justice, right? Is because people kept insulting Miss Monochrome like left and right. You know, you couldn't go an entire day without someone insulting Miss Monochrome. It was getting a little ridiculous, if you ask me. But
that's fair. You know, I'd probably leave my own server too.
Oh, would that be finally enough to break you? Is just the constant insults of Miss Monochrome?
The constant barrage of Miss Monochrome.
But I don't know. I had fun with it at the time.
It was fun.
I remember the first season was a lot more episodic, and then the second season, I remember having a lot more of a continuing story, but then the third season kind of goes back to being more episodic. I think there are some times they do like arcs, but generally, like the second season, I remember feeling like a very consistent ongoing narrative, and the first season wasn't quite like that from what I recall.
First season was shorter too, wasn't it?
Was it?
Or maybe I'm misremembering that. Maybe I'm conflating that with Yoma no Susume.
No, you're right. So the first season was 4 minutes. The second season was 7 minutes.
Yeah, I thought it was like shorter. I don't know how I would compare Miss Monochrome's humor, like what I would compare it to.
Could just watch an episode. We could become a reaction podcast.
Could just watch it.
It is only like
4 minutes right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe like Zombieland Saga, kinda.
Oh,
not
it's
really.
It's just like everything returned, like something ridiculous will happen. Like she'll win the lottery, and then like the person who sold her the lottery ticket will just like steal it from her, and she just kind of has to go back to being a like street idol or something. And you're just like,
well, I mean, that's kind of like what happens in like something like Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's like anytime the gang reaches like any sort of success, you're just thinking to yourself, okay, it's got to go wrong by the end of the episode so we can end off right where we started.
If you like Always Sunny, I cannot recommend Miss Monochrome enough, okay?
There was an episode where she literally saves the planet from an alien invasion and no one remembers because
it's like Ben 10.
She doesn't remember because her batteries died in doing so. So her memory gets reset or something stupid.
Oh, like Nier.
Yeah, exactly. Just like if you like Nier Automata this season,
check out Miss Monochrome.
God damn it.
It's got everything you could ever want in a show called Miss Monochrome, the animation. I'll tell you that much.
Speaking of batteries not included, do we talk about Gundam Build Fighters?
We talked about Kanata.
We talked about the MILF. That's all I know about Gundam Build Fighters.
I mean, I don't actually think I even know what any of the characters in the original look like. I remember Try just because that one girl kept getting like all the art from Build Fighters Try. But
you don't remember what the boy and his mom looks like? I mean, that's in like every fucking doujin. The fuck?
I've never seen any doujinshi for Gundam Build
Yeah. Have you seen a lot of doujinshi, Mumi?
I haven't read them, but I've seen a lot of them.
Okay, I see.
Well, yeah, you did go to Kamike, right?
Yeah.
So that's maybe where you would have seen him, right?
Do y'all not know what the mom looked like?
No, I don't know what the show really looks like.
Show us?
God damn. I mean, you're on the character page. You can just pull it up.
Fuck, God damn it. Hold on.
Jamie,
do not fucking call me Jamie. I told you not to do that.
Sorry to disappoint the diehard Build Fighters fans, but I actually
I'm not
don't
goddamn
know what
Jamie.
Build Fighters really looks like.
Pull up the porno where the boy from Build Fighters fucks his mom.
I don't know what is the mom's name. What character?
Rinko Ori is that one right there. No. To your right.
Oh, here we go. Oh,
yeah.
She looks like a Pokemon mom.
Yeah, A Pokemon.
Pokemon.
I'd Pokemon.
He's got that sweater going on. Yeah, I can see it.
Sweater puppies.
A playful
puppies.
woman.
A playful woman.
She was. She routinely tries to pair up Kosaka China with her son. Yeah, that checks out.
Did we talk about I couldn't become a hero or whatever? What is this
No,
called?
we didn't talk about Yusibu.
Yusibu?
Yusibu.
What about C3 Boo?
Yeah, we did talk about C3 Brew. I bet I got a bunch of information wrong on that, but
It's fine.
not
Fino.
let's not
Fino
dwell.
was
Let's,
pretty cute.
what about Yusibu?
No one's gonna correct you.
Fino
Well,
was
I'm
pretty
gonna
cute.
correct me. I'm going to leave like a long comment when this
Long
gets
comment
uploaded.
of just notes.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna like timestamp everything too.
You need to make each note its own comment to like artificially inflate the comment count.
What I could do is I'd make each note. I'd start one note as a comment, and then I'd reply with a new note each time.
You do that, and the video just gets flagged for spam.
Oh yeah, that is true. Well, let me
Yeah.
tell you, I ain't no spammer.
I couldn't become a hero. Sucked ass. But Fino was cute. The main girl. Comes
I like
out-
the animation.
Really? I don't remember the
It was
animation
like
being very
really
good.
well animated.
What?
Yeah, do you
Don't
not
remember
remember?
No. I don't
Yeah,
remember
there's like
that
some
at all.
insane cuts in it.
I remember like the cut of like the old man flipping up Sarah, was her name Sarah? Her skirt while
Yeah.
she's like and like being all dramatic. I remember that cut. I
Yeah.
remember all the sexual cuts, I guess.
The show looks
Yeah,
very
see,
a lot of
I liked
2013.
Fino the most because she's just it's one of those things where it's like you put her in kind of like you put this wacky character in kind of like a mundane situation, right? But I think it was interesting, right? Wasn't it like the climax of Yusibu where he fights the big bad using all the techniques he like learned from working at the freaking retail store?
Wax on, wax off.
Yeah, like he I'm pretty sure he like mops the floor or something at one point in the final fight.
I think so. Well, like are they even fighting in the fantasy world, or they're just like fighting in like a convenient, like in the store?
They weren't fighting in the store. This isn't Bento.
Oh, I don't remember.
I think they were fighting like outside. Quite frankly, my problem with the show is, I'ma be real.
Sucked.
No one should work in freaking retail. I'm gonna say it right now.
I mean, I am not against cute anime girls working in retail and then just being sexually harassed.
I don't know, man. I just think that these characters deserve better than to work some crappy retail job is all I'm saying.
Do they though? Do
Yes.
they really?
Yes, they do. I
I'll take
mean,
your-
listen, if the mopping the floor helped them in their fight, I'm not gonna take that away from them, but the way I see it, the guy couldn't become a hero. But this probably was better off being a hero than working at retail is all I'm saying.
All I'm saying is that not all heroes wear capes, okay? Some of them have a mop and bucket and clean up the vomit in aisle 12 so that, the mom
Listen,
of
I got
12
nothing but respect for people
Pour some
who work in
sawdust
retail.
on it to soak it up.
I've got nothing but respect for people who work in retail, but like,
they're true
I also
heroes.
don't wish that on anybody.
I would not wish that on my greatest enemies.
I also would not wish Unbreakable Machine Doll on my greatest enemies.
Oh, you don't like
Well, let's say the ED was like fucking catchy as fuck. That's about all that had going for it.
Oh, dude, you know for a fact, back in like the mid 2010s, if you went outside and you went "se no ichinen hai," they would start like breaking out into like this big number. They would start losing it. Everybody.
Like a flash mob.
Yeah, it'd be like a flash mob. Everybody knew this freaking song. My grandma heard this song when she was at the supermarket. Okay.
I just remember that cut of like her running really weird up like a vertical surface or something. Or it starts off like horizontal and turns vertical. Like that's a weird cut in the ED.
Yeah. I think it's cool because not only could the machine doll not be broken, but, you know, everyone's spirit couldn't be broken either. No, it was just... It was really a point in time that I think one of these days, you know, we should really go back to. Sometimes I stay up late at night, I look at the ceiling, and I think to myself, man, you know, we could have been living in a different world had, you know, the Maware spirit had been preserved. But
we could have funded a
alas.
second season for Unbreakable Machine Doll.
Nah, if it got a second season though, they wouldn't pull like a Gurazeni and keep the same song. You know, they would have made it a second song, and it would have been like a, you know, lightning in a bottle that couldn't be recaptured. You know.
Yeah. They should have made a second season of Tokyo Ravens though.
Oh, why do you think that?
Of Tokyo Ravens?
Yeah.
Well, it ends on like a cliffhanger.
Oh, okay. I actually don't know anything about the show other than fight, keep holding on. Ba-da-ba. Yeah, that OP is awesome because it's done by Masashi Ishihama, who directed Shinsekai Yori. And he does like killer OPs. Like all of his OPs look freaking amazing.
The second OP for Tokyo Ravens was good too.
Yeah, so his Tokyo Revengers OP is really good looking. I really like it.
He also had Khan in Tokyo Ravens, who was pretty cute. All the girls in Tokyo Ravens were pretty cute.
I liked the one who was licking the ice cream in the OP.
Oh, the Twin Drills one?
She was licking the ice cream.
Yeah,
that's the only cut drills I really remember. There was the licking the ice cream, then there's the like the two like sides. One was one color, the other was the other color.
Oh, yeah,
but I don't
like
know
split
anything
the
about
image.
the show. I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever heard a single person actually talk about the story in Tokyo Ravens.
So it's basically like if people had like shamanic powers in like modern day Japan or something. And so like this kid's like born into the world of like these priests and priestesses or whatever and superpowers and all that. But like he's not really like in the world. But it turns out he may or may not be like the reincarnation of somebody that was like really big in that world. But like he's subservient to like his cousin, who through tradition is like the main person or whatever. And so she's like viewed as a she's also presents herself as a guy within the school just to like keep up appearances because she doesn't
that's
like
based.
you're not you're not I don't think like a person in her position is supposed to be a girl. That is basically like I think what the logic behind it is. So he basically becomes his cousin's familiar. And then to go to this school, and it's just basically like a kind of battle shonen-y. What I don't know what a good like battle shonen to compare it to would be. Also, why are we just watching the fake trailer while I'm in the middle of talking?
Oh, because I'm not paying attention to what I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was a fun show. It wasn't like the greatest thing. I would have watched a season 2 if they made one.
Well, if they made a season 2, I say that I'll probably pick up the show on a whim like 5 years from now or something.
And 15 years after it aired.
This movie came out in 2013. What do we think of it?
Isn't this a Korean movie or something?
This is a Korean movie.
Yeah, is
I haven't
this
watched it.
from the people who made the King of Pigs, or is this someone else?
I think it looks like it similarly.
Let me see.
Yeah, it's Saibi, isn't it?
Yeah.
We didn't talk about Noucome, did we?
No, we've got a choice to make. Do we talk about Noucome or do we skip it?
Do we talk about Noucome or do we run outside, delete our hard drives, and crash our car into the nearest building?
Well, I mean, this is a difficult choice.
I thought we already talked about this.
Did we talk about this?
No, we didn't talk about it.
No, I thought we did.
No,
What
I
about
know
Roger?
for a fact we didn't because I was like, oh, we got to talk about this still.
Okay.
I did really like Noucome. Like, it was a fun, like, comedy. I mean, it's not like it's not like well written comedy. It's not like you're gonna go into it with like Cromartie levels of comedy where it's like biting commentary on social issues or some bullshit.
Cromartie has biting commentary on social issues?
Maybe.
I don't remember any biting commentary. I mean, I guess maybe some like stuff on internet culture, but
Have some nerve coming on this podcast making a comment like that. But no, like I don't know, it was kind of fun. Like he just, I mean, it's also random shit, but it was fun.
I remember everybody was like really excited. Like every time UOG would appear on screen, they would spell out the letters UOG.
UOG.
Yeah, because she was like, her dad was like some tech guy or something. He was like an inventor. So she would come like into the school. She like came to the school through the window and she would pull out all these wacky inventions.
She's got
I've
a
watched
tiny
this
hat.
show like twice in full, by the way.
That's
it's that character.
yeah, it's the don't
Yeah,
shake the lolly character. She's actually their teacher.
Right.
Yeah, she's the teacher.
Oh, I
and
see.
like her relationship is like with the main dude is she's like aware of like his weird powers because his powers force him to like constantly choose between like 2 or 3 options periodically, and at the end of each episode they kind of show what might have happened had he chose the other choice.
Yeah, but the other choice is always like something ridiculously stupid, like become
Yeah.
a woman. Like he's just supposed to like change his anatomy like in place.
Oh, I've seen like the first episode of this. It's all coming back to me now. I remember her falling on him.
Or like turn into a
yeah,
handbag
that's
or something.
Shakura.
Like just random fucking shit.
It's interesting because earlier I was thinking to myself, because people say like, oh, it was 10 years ago. That means it's retro. And I was saying to myself, that sounds fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's pretty
But
dumb.
I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, man, I guess, yeah, 2013. This does look like a 2013 anime. Like the early 2010s have a distinct style now, which is weird to think about.
They basically just look like the mid-aughts anime style, but shinier,
yeah.
more post-processing. They had some fun dynamics in this show. I liked that he's like just a normal dude and he keeps having to do this like random shit, and it's like everyone around him doesn't like try to understand. Like they just play along.
Yeah.
Like he's just a fucking
Well, there was
weirdo.
the one girl who was like really cold to him, but like always makes bad puns.
Like he'll do something stupid like, "Can I touch your breast?" And she just plays along.
Yeah.
This is a trope I wish they brought back with like just like the shiny shoulders and
The
shit.
boob blush.
Yeah.
I remember that
Bring it
being a
back.
thing back in the day. People talking about the boob.
Yeah.
That was like
Well, I think it was specifically like blowjob knees.
blowjob knees.
Wait,
You
what?
know?
I want to say boob blush was like the 2010s equivalent of like vagina bones.
Oh hell
Well,
yeah!
That was also the 2010s.
Was that the early 2010s though?
Yeah, that was 2011.
Oh, fuck.
Yumikui Mary came out. So
Oh shit, you're right. Well shit.
yeah.
that was more than 10 years.
We had
ago.
boob blush and vagina bones at the same time.
What a time to be alive!
The other thing about Noucome, right? The OP, they'd like do the handstand.
Yeah.
And they would defy gravity.
Oh, like her fucking
Yeah.
like skirt wouldn't fall.
Yeah, none of them would fall.
You think that was the influence
They corrected-
for?
that was later rectified in Licorice
I
Recoil.
was about to say, do you think that was the inspiration behind Licorice Recoil?
That would be very funny if it was.
That would be interesting. I also remember the fact that the artist who performed the opening track, the Ophelia Saga, they would show up at the end of the episode, and no one would know who the heck they were. Not
Like,
the
as
characters. I
character-
mean, people watching didn't know who the heck they were.
Oh,
Because they were like, oh, yeah, hey, guys, we're Ophelia Saga. That sure was a wacky episode we just watched.
Who the fuck are you? That was a fun show. I remember the fucking like one where he's just like has to call out the bitch for like having silicone implants.
Oh, yeah, that's the festival, right? When they're having that like big contest.
It was a contest. I don't know if it was a festival. It was just like
It was a festival.
they
of
had
fun.
like a wrestling contest or something.
Yeah.
He just calls
so
her.
is this just like Would You Rather the anime?
It was very like all the choices are just like what the fuck. Like they try to make a big point about like branching paths where it's like, well, Einstein could have solved the theory of relativity, or I don't know, he could have sold ice cream. And it's just like what, or some like just stupid shit.
Oh, that is the binary.
Yeah, no, it
way,
made
Western
me think
man?
a lot about my own choices in life, you know?
Yeah, really makes you think. Really,
Where it was like,
Just
I
like
could have
the Atomic
recorded this
Galaxy.
podcast, or I could have, you know,
You could have
I could
not.
have jumped out a window.
I could have became a salad.
Exactly. So yeah, it was a show that really taught a lot. You know, I learned a lot from
How
it.
much did you learn from Outbreak Company?
Outbreak Company is freaking brilliant. It really annoys me how every single video, well, not every single, but a vast majority of videos on YouTube that discuss the show seem to not actually know what the show's about.
Enlighten.
What's it about?
Enlighten them, Roger.
Like, yeah, all right. So I was looking back on a comment because I ran into this earlier this morning. I was like, I ran into a video by someone on my YouTube feed. I'm like,
You
oh
can
yeah,
say
this is
who.
the guy who did the Outbreak Company video. I didn't care for, and I remember leaving a comment because everyone seems to think the fact, and I gotta go check my audio so I'm not clipping because I'm gonna get really loud at this point. So everybody seems to think that the whole thing of like, oh, going to another country to promote like well, it's another world, but essentially another culture. To promote otaku media, that's just a wacky anime premise. And I'm like, it's not a wacky anime premise. This is what's actually
That's
happening.
a thing.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
It is very much
You know.
a common thing with isekai though, where it's like the character from Japan brings his knowledge just innate to him being
Yeah.
a Japanese citizen to the other world.
Have we considered giving the North Sentinelese like just airdropping Chainsaw Man onto that island?
I'm sure nothing would go wrong.
Nothing would go wrong.
But the
Becomes
thing
their
with Outbreak
religion.
Company is that, like, he goes in there with the expectation that his expertise will, like, benefit people, and it kind of does, but the intentions of what it's being used for are bigger than what he intends for it to do, right? Because he knows firsthand the sort of the impact that these works can have on people and, you know, what their benefit is. But the government really isn't, the Japanese government really isn't interested in that. They're interested in using it sort of as a way to expand their influence and then continue on to sort of reap the benefits of this land with regards to resources and the like. So they're especially taken back when the culture, because at first it develops this kind of schism in the world, right, where the older generation sort of has a hard time understanding the younger generation who's being influenced by anime and manga because it's so alien from their way of life. And there's also sort of homegrown terrorists being developed and things of that nature. But later on in the show, there's the whole idea of like, all right, well, we can make our own animation and our own comics and the things like that. And the Japanese government friggin' hates it. Because they're like, oh, we don't want that. You know, we want our influence, kind of. And it's a very interesting work, too, because the original writer is Ichiro Sakaki, who did Chika, Outbreak Company, of course, Scrap Princess, Cody, Missiony, Polyphonica, which has that infamous car chase scene, a bunch of other stuff. And I think he's like one of the most underrated writers, in my opinion, in the industry, because he writes really interesting works. Makademi Washoi is another really fun one he did. And they're all like, a lot of them are very different from each other too. Like there's some themes you can find common in his works, like discrimination is a big one, and sort of like people kind of believing what they're told and becoming victims to some form of like brainwashing generally of some kind, like with the prophecy and Scrap Princess. And things of that sort. But I'd say like his works are all like very different from each other generally. An Outbreak Company is kind of, it's a very different work from him because it takes a bit more of a comedic approach, but it has a very serious bent to it. Whereas something like Makademi Washoi is like pure gag comedy. And then like Scrap Princess is fantasy, but it's not really fantasy when the spoiler twist happens midway. Polyphonica is like more urban fantasy, I'd say, where it's like magic, but in like a modern day urban setting. Cody and Missiony are like, they have superpowers in like our present day, but it's also like, well, at the time it was the future, but now it's present day because the future, it was like a futuristic society, but it was also kind of like had this noir spy kind of motif to it.
The future is now.
And that one I watched this past year and I thought it was quite good, especially Missiony. I thought it was quite good. So I really like his works, and I think Outbreak Company, I think it stands tall with the rest, you know. I like when Petrelka, who's the ruler of the land, she like tries to like show off her like knowledge of like anime tropes when she's like, oh, she acts all tsundere, but she doesn't know the name of it, so she's like, oh, I'm doing the tsundora. Didn't you notice? And then he's like, it's tsundere. And then it's just silence.
You know,
or freaking
Sindora.
Now that you mention it,
or there was the other scene where like he's like, because the other thing too is there's the eye catches, you see like each of them have their favorite anime listed, and you know, things they like, things of that nature. So one of the things is he talks about Minami K, right? And he talks about the season that director specifically directed, who's the same director as Outbreak Company. And he said that season was awful and that the director
just
sucked.
Insulting the director's other words.
Yes.
That's pretty funny.
So it's there's kind of tongue-in-cheek stuff like that, but I think it's also like a really poignant show on something on Cool Japan phenomenon.
Yeah.
So I think it has a lot to say. It's funny, but it also has like a point, too, which and has kind of serious moments as well. So I think it's very good.
Yeah,
I've seen it twice now.
I didn't know that it was written by the same guy as like Chika and Scrap Princess. I never like looked into that. But like now that you mention it, like tonally it seems pretty similar. Like Chika had like that kind of, it was like a lighthearted kind of a like action series, but like it was still kind of serious. And Outbreak Company kind of has that similar kind of tone to it.
Yeah. Well, with Chika, it plays it very lighthearted, but then it just pulls like gore on you and like gets like extreme.
Yeah, like Freddy just gets fucking places. Like fucking just like killed instantly, and then like chest bursts out of herself.
Yeah, it was things like that, or even just in the first episode, the infamous scene where the unicorn gets like blown up.
The fucking unicorn, yeah.
4 young children have been found alive after more than a month wandering the Amazon.
What?
I don't know, just a random notification I got on my phone.
That's very important.
Good for them.
Yeah. I mean, definitely Chaika and Scrap Princess, I'd say, are the two that are the most similar to each
They're
other.
also the two that are most
and then
popular.
Makademi Washoi, I'd say, is most similar to Polyphonica, except Makademi Washoi is like pure gag comedy, I would say.
Outbreak Company, like, it's one of those shows where it's like a lot of the fun is just like, it's not as fun if you're not as familiar with like knowledge of anime shit, because like,
Kind of like Joshiraku.
yeah, it's kind of like
Yeah.
it's kind of like Onibai, where it's like where you would stop and be like, oh, what's all this like DVDs in her fucking room? What is this poster supposed to be referencing and all that? It's kind of like that, where like you have like a discount like or off-brand Saber
Yuri.
stand-in Yuri, yeah, that kind of shit. And so you'd be like, oh, what are they referencing here, or what are they doing with that? And like I remember the humor of it was pretty good too. Like I remember like the gag about like the council trying to determine what swimsuit the princess should wear. The fucking dude's face.
Sounds like my kind of anime.
That was
Yeah, I like how the subtitle, too, of the light novel is Moeru Shinryakusha, or like Moe Invader. Which is like kind of the idea, right, of like cultural invasion,
yeah.
but with Moe.
Do you think the staff of that anime were trying to tell us something?
I mean, yeah.
Do you think they're trying to tell us that the government's actually involved and this is some kind of like soft invasion?
Well, the thing with Cool Japan, right, is that Cool Japan is kind of a failure.
Yeah.
Well, kinda. So, like, the official government initiative of Cool Japan was a failure.
Yeah.
But just the general concept of Cool Japan and Japanese soft power has been incredibly successful.
The thing is, right, Japan just had no idea, like, the government just had no idea how to market it.
Yeah. But
Because, like, definitely with music, right, was the big one where I think they dropped the ball. Because if you look at K-pop, it, like, completely trounces
absolutely,
J-pop, J-rock.
There's not really a good reason for it
really,
either. Like, it's not like they're that different.
It's really been carried on the back of the free market.
Yeah, I remember Gact criticizing Cool Japan in particular, saying that like they had these funds, but they just had no idea where to put the funds.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and I think Gact knows what he was talking about. He was in PUBG, so.
Oh, okay.
He was also in Technolize.
Well, there you go.
He performed the ED.
You can't argue with the guy who was in Technolize.
That's very true.
He also was the influence for Genesis and Final Fantasy VII. They based his character off of Gact.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
I don't know who that character is, but that's interesting.
I mean, he's in Crisis Core a lot more prominently.
I want to talk about Burning Buddha Man.
I haven't seen Burning Buddha Man.
What do you got to say about this Buddha guy?
So Burning Buddha Man is the debut feature film, maybe just the debut film of a really interesting director, independent director, Ujicha, who directed Violence Voyager, which is one of my favorite movies. Not one of my favorite movies, but definitely one of like my favorite, just like weird horror anime. He has a very signature style, which is that he uses gekimation. Have either of you seen like the original Cat Eye Boy anime from like the 70s?
Not extensively.
But you know what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like these like paper dolls, or like you do have stuff like that in like Karekano, stuff like that.
Oh, like Kamishibai?
Yeah, kinda. So I'll just show a trailer. So like this.
Oh, yeah, this is like Mononoke Dance, the OP to Hakabe Kitaro, the music video.
So, yeah, all of his stuff looks like this. And, yeah, I really like Violence Voyager. It's a pretty just, like, straightforward, almost like a really fucked up Goosebumps book. That just, I don't know. People talk about, like, Made in Abyss being, like, violent towards kids and stuff. This, I think, this makes my skin crawl in ways Made in Abyss doesn't even come close.
I feel like in order to promote it better, someone should have had the subtitle for Violence Voyager be like "Viewer beware,
You're in for a scare." Burning Buddha Man, on the other hand, it's an all right movie. It's kind of unfocused and weirdly structured. It's almost got like a tokusatsu kind of energy to it, where you're fighting this girl. I basically, from what I remember, her like whole family gets murdered, and then she joins like this cult of like mutant aliens who then like transform her into a mutant. And then she fights the aliens that... I might be getting this completely wrong, by the way, but then she fights the aliens that killed her family. Something like that. Maybe help to read the synopsis. Secret Buddha, yada yada, stolen. Parents killed at the same time. Robbery, yada, killed her parents, visited vengeance. And the place to go, she wanders into Tenchu's secret room and meets an ugly creature that looks like funny. Yeah. This movie also relies heavily on just really fucked up body horror. And I think the fact that they are paper cutouts, the fact that they're like they are real and not just like, animated drawings, that these are like it kind of adds to the graphic nature of it. Because he'll also do stuff where he just has like them secrete actual fluids, and it's really gross and stomach churning, and coupled with just the really fucked up designs, it's a real trip, to say the least. I highly recommend. I think Violence Voyager is on Amazon Prime. Only dubbed, but the dub is kind of funny. Again, it kind of has like that Goosebumps charm to it. Burning Buddha Man is not available on streaming, although there is a like 2-pack of Violence Voyager and Burning Buddha Man available. I think through Arrow Films. So check that out. Support independent filmmakers.
Honestly, this looks interesting, but I feel like if I watch this movie, I will become like Kyoukai. And what I mean by that is I'll hide under the covers.
Hide under the covers.
Well, yeah, because you had the mic.
Yeah.
Actually,
not anymore. I'm no longer scared of the dark.
All right. So I'll be like past you. I'll take your place.
He will
if you want something if you want something that's just gross and kind of sickening, yeah, watch Violence Voyager, and then maybe watch Burning Buddha Man if you want more of that.
You know what else was gross and kind of sickening?
Your mom?
I'm sad now.
I'm just gonna leave it all that dead air. just let that joke sit. What?
Yeah, that's gonna be like one of those note. I did not edit this.
Slowly zooming in on me. Kyoukai no Kanata.
Oh, what do you have to say about Kyoukai no Kanata?
Nothing.
That's a very interesting.
No, it's
very gross and vile anime.
I remember that was like the Bakemonogatari killer, right? Back in the day.
Oh yeah.
What do you mean?
So people were hyping it up. They're like, "Oh, it's a light novel adaptation, and it's similar to Bakemonogatari. It's gonna be adapted by KyoAni. It's gonna be the Monogatari killer." These were conversations that were happening in 2013.
Really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And then it came out, and I could see the comparisons sort of, because like you got the Megane fetish stuff.
Sure.
You got the
you got the Syscon stuff too.
You got Syscon stuff. I mean, you got some like superficial, tangentially related things, but it's not really similar to Monogatari at all.
I gotta say though, the designs are pretty freaking stunning. I do really like the look of the show.
I don't like
the
her
main
hipster
girl
glasses.
reminds me of keep talking and I'll remember what the hell it reminds me of.
I'm not a fan of her hipster glasses. I've never been a fan of like Megane characters.
Yeah,
very
the main
edgy
girl kind
show.
of reminds me of of the girl from Natsunagu.
Hmm.
Gonna see that?
I have seen that. The one that was made after the earthquake, right?
Yeah. The earthquake and
She like trying to find her like online
Oh,
friend or whatever.
yeah, it's something weird. It was cute. Well, just based on like the description for Beyond the Boundary, Kyoukai no Kanata, it kind of just seems like what if they made an anime just about the chuny parts of Chunibyo?
Yeah, that's a good way to kind of put it. They kind of have similar. I don't know if it's because of the studio, but they do kind of have similar feel.
Well,
Ugh.
KyoAni is a very
Feels.
like insular studio, so
Yeah.
yeah, you had like the KyoAni same face.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember most of this show because most of it felt very uneventful, like kind of ran together.
Oh man, I was super into it when I watched it. I was like really down for it, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, like I don't know. I just thought it was really cool. But I didn't really think of Bakemonogatari. Now, admittedly, I didn't watch it when it came out. I watched it a bit after. It honestly reminded me most of Noragami because you have kind of the spirits, the urban fantasy setting.
Noragami would have came out after this.
Yeah, it was the season after actually.
Yeah. That was 2014. It doesn't exist yet.
Oh. Now,
We're in 2013.
you know, and the other thing was I remember really liking the recap movie of Kyoukai no Kanata as well.
See, I didn't watch the movie.
I didn't watch the second one. I just watched the recap movie.
I'm not gonna lie though. I wasn't a fan of I wasn't a fan of the show. But like episode 6, the fucking idol
that's
episode.
The idol episode, right?
Yeah. Is so much better than it has any business being. Like, just as a premise, you're just kind of like, okay. But like the fact that it like doesn't tie into anything is like a strength for the episode. Where it's like they're just like fighting this creature that like has a big eye. They have to distract it. So they're like, oh, it's put on an idol performance because it's an otaku creature. And so they like try like haphazardly and it fucking fails. So they're like, okay, we gotta get really serious. They do like a whole like idol arc. And
yeah,
it has
like
like
a huge montage.
Yeah, well, there's like this like actual like idol sequence, and you're like, God damn. If every idol show were like this, I might actually watch idol shows. Like, it was so fucking good. You're like, what the fuck are you doing? You just blew your fucking budget all over the fucking screen for this random episode. And then it ends, and you're just like, oh, we gotta go back to the show and like blood blades and being stabbed and shit. Okay. All right.
I think I've seen like a GIF from Kyoukai no Kanata of like the girl like bending over like backwards or something. Something like
is
that.
it the one where she's like holding her hands out?
Let me see.
There are a lot of gifs from Kyoukai no Kanata.
Yeah, it's
like
a really
the rejection of the money where she's like, no, I don't want the money, but she's like still trying to take
that's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. You got like the fucking the pig girl where she's like pouting and like moving her
I
head
really
back
like
and
the
forth.
one of Mitsuki doing like the disgusted face. That one's really good.
I might
got the,
just be thinking of a different KyoAni show.
Yeah, you might be. I mean, there's like a lot.
Oh
of
yeah,
Kyouai
there's also
shows.
the hug.
Was there a lot of
one,
fan
right,
service
from
in
the movie.
this show?
Yeah, there's quite a bit from
Okay, then it might
what's
have
her
been this
name?
one.
It's that one woman who like dresses up as the cat like every time she shows up.
Isn't that like their sister?
Yeah, is that his sister?
That's from the Idol episode.
Yeah, I picked
Yeah,
up
that's
on
the
that,
idol
Nene.
episode.
Hey, really? What
Yeah,
gave
no,
it
I
away
just
was the fucking idol dancing?
No, that was actually like from the final episode. That's the climax. That's
Oh,
one
I
of the
see.
idols. Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I just was really into it at the time. I don't know what I'd think of it these days because I haven't seen it in so bloody long. But it's just I don't know. I felt kind of sucked in the world, I guess is the best way to put it.
Is that a Newton reference?
No, that's the first episode, I believe. So the reason I preferred the recap movie is that the way the show starts out, it's like it leaves you in the dark a lot with like what exactly is going on, And I didn't really think that was much to the show's benefit per se, because it's like they're explaining all these kind of concepts, but we don't really understand what the world itself is like just yet. But the movie alleviates pretty much all of that, as they include kind of Miurai's main motivation at the very beginning of the film. So you kind of understand, like, pretty much everything you need to know.
This is the show
right at the beginning of the film, so that when you, like, watch the later scenes, you can pretty much follow what's going on. The only thing with the movie is they do cut a lot of the action scenes, so it can feel like, you know, there's a fight, but then they kind of cut the fight.
You're thinking of whatever the fuck that's called.
Yeah. This is.
Oh, you're thinking of there's like no scene in Phantom World that's as wacky as that. After that,
that's very disappointing. That's like finding out.
Phantom World puts like all of the most memorable parts of it like at the very beginning.
Oh, low.
It's like me finding out that the Twizzler scene in Love Love only happens once.
Yeah.
Someone who knows what I'm referring to with that is like horrified by that statement.
Like, I don't know. I know for a lot of people, they treat Kyoukai no Kanata as like this kind of like, you know, people say that, you know, this KyoAni show is the lowest common denominator one and is bad and blah, blah, blah. I think Kyoukai no Kanata is. No, I'm going to say it. Phantom World is indeed worse than Kyoukai no Kanata.
It definitely feels like it fits that bill more. I assume it's still like, I don't know, probably at least decent because it's KyoAni.
I found it really boring.
I will give Kyoukai no Kanata. I finished Kyoukai no Kanata. I only watched like 1 or 2 episodes of Phantom World and was just like,
I mean, Phantom World gets like more serious and more like arc based as the show continues. I just really didn't find it interesting, and even aesthetically, it wasn't really much my thing. Like, I don't know, Kyoukai no Kanata, like all the characters are like dripped out. You know, I really like the action. It's kind of
like, it's a little bit more stereotypical anime character drip. Kind of look like, they look like characters from fucking Charlotte. I would start shitting on Charlotte, but it came out in 2015, so it gets a pass for now.
Yeah, I didn't really think much of Charlotte when I watched Phantom World. More people, when Phantom World came out, that was like, oh, you know, LN battle harem shows. So it was compared a lot to those, like Magic School, you know, this and that kind of thing.
You know, it kind of defeats the purpose to do like the Mormon bubble porn stuff when you make it transparent and you can see through it.
Wait, did you say Mormon?
Yeah.
What about Mormons?
Oh, that's like the joke. It's like Mormon porn because there's no actual nudity.
Oh, I think I know what you're referring to now.
They crop it in a way that makes your brain like, oh, they're naked.
Because you put like the bubbles such that it's kind of gross because these women these real women, when it's like that, didn't really consent to this, so that's fucked up. But here they're just doing it wrong because you can see through it, and it's like, oh no, I can tell what they're wearing underneath. That's defeats the point.
I think it might be like a cultural difference.
Maybe.
But it's interesting too that Kyoto Animation had 2 different anime adaptations that both had the initials K and K.
What was the other one?
Wait, what was the other one?
Koe no Katachi.
Oh yeah.
I
was
thinking
of. Are we thinking of Kar no Kyoukai? That wasn't KyoAni.
God damn it! Fuck you. Why are we so fucking?
Yeah, that was another thing. All right, what's the deal with like Koe no Katachi fans needing to like make a contest out of everything? I noticed this, and I'm not trying to be a hater or anything, but like every freaking time your name comes up in conversation, they have to bring up Koe no Katachi being better, and every time Kyoukai no Kanata comes up in conversation, Koe no Katachi fans have to bring up that Koe no Katachi is the better KyoAni K and K. Like, do Koe no Katachi fans have like some kind of inferiority complex or something?
I'll tell you why. Like, it's because they are Naoko Yamada stans.
I mean, Yeah,
People
that's
who
fine.
like
but
Naoko Yamada, she's a fine director. People who are like diehard fans of her are fucking insane. I've never met
Actually
one. I've never like
deranged.
met one or interacted with like someone who's like, yeah, I really like Naoko Yamada's work, and they were like neurotypical.
Normal.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to be throwing shade, but I do remember certain people being very upset when I used to like go around saying Yamada did it again. But admittedly, I mean, I got nothing against Yamada, you know.
I'm like, I don't know, fucking hater or anything.
Yeah, I'm fine with her works. I've got no problem with them.
Yeah.
I don't even have that big of a problem with Koi no Katachi, honestly. I mean, I haven't seen the film in so blasted long anyway, right? But
my thing with Koi no Katachi is that the movie either needed to be like 30 minutes shorter or just made into a single core TV show.
I remember saying at the time that it felt like a recap movie, and people wanted to kill me for that too. So
yeah, they can go fuck themselves.
I mean, regardless of how I felt about it at the time, you know, I really don't think that we need to turn this into a contest of which Kyoto Animation K and K is better. You know, that's all I'm saying.
That's a competition between two things.
Well, two things that are only like tangentially related. I
think Naoki Yamada, I think I saw her like she directed episode 5 of Gyoken no Kanata.
She I mean, I'd imagine a number of the folks
yeah,
who
again, it's
worked
probably
on
same
Kyokai
sap,
no
but it's
Kanata.
just like why?
But the director is the one who directed Violet Evergarden and Ishitate. I believe this was his first main directorial work. And I know some people have a problem with the way Ishitate directs. I honestly thought that the show was like really stunning looking back when I watched it. I was into it. Wasn't like my favorite show at the time, but I was into it.
What was your favorite show at the time as it was airing?
Like favorite in what sense?
Like what was the show you liked most airing week to week at the same time as Kyokai no Kanata?
I have no idea. I wasn't watching seasonals back then. When I watched Kyoukai no Kanata, that was like 2015.
I forgot about that. It's been 2 weeks.
We'll cut that.
I think that was like early 2015 at that.
Cut that.
Well, the thing was, I saw it like because that was when like the ED ended up like in everybody's friggin' recommended.
Oh yeah, Daisy.
Yeah, that was in like everybody's recommended. Which, by the way, Daisy, the visuals for that, I believe Seven Seeds actually like plagiarized the visuals for that. I think it was the second season of Seven Seeds. They had the ED. It was either the OP or the ED, and the visuals were like eerily similar to the ones in the Kyoukai no Kanata ED.
Hey, can I copy your homework?
Yeah,
just change it up.
Just change it up so no one will notice.
Yeah, I don't think like any member of the staff who worked on Seven Seeds ever acknowledged it, but they were eerily similar.
What else? What else do we got?
Did we talk about Log Horizon?
We did not touch on. We did not talk about Log Horizon.
We talked a bit about Log Horizon in relation to the Beto video and then Mao Yu, but we never really talked much about the series itself.
Yeah.
Did you? Log Horizon was kind of surprising. Like I started watching it just because, like it was. I don't know. I just picked it up because I was like, oh, something people are talking about.
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot. It ended up being kind of fun. Like the first season was kind of just like bros being bros through alternate world Akihabara. You kind of had like the whole like them kind of finding their footing in the world and going and doing shit. Like it was kind of fun.
I've seen like the first however many episodes back when like I first started getting into anime, and I just never finished it.
It's probably, I don't know. I wasn't like into it enough that I would say like it was worth finishing necessarily, but it was like it was a fun show.
I think I just stopped watching anime for a year, and I just never got back to it.
or 5 years.
Nah, I think it's probably
Yeah.
just like a year.
I just remember it was the big thing. You know what? Forget about Koi no Katachi fans. You know, what about Log Horizon? Every time SAO is
every
brought
time
up.
SAO, yeah. We all know who we're referring to when we talk about that.
No, it was even before those videos actually, because I remember when Log Horizon was first airing, you know, people were like, "Oh, you know, don't bother with SAO, just watch Log Horizon." You know, SAO fans, you know, they're just SAO fans because they haven't seen Log Horizon yet.
Yeah. Those SAO is for normies, the real hardcore anime fans. We like obscure art house anime like Log Horizon.
Sword Art Online doesn't even have MMO game mechanics. Log Horizon actually has class systems.
SAO doesn't even have
sense.
magic.
I like how, you know, day one maybe we were playing it safe a little. Day 2 we're just insulting every fan base in Ashton.
We never play it safe.
I think we like jokingly like brought up Kill la Kill and we're like, yeah, let's Kill la Kill. And we like moved on.
It is Kill la Kill.
I remember asking if it was man mode.
What?
Yeah, man mode made the Kill la Kill video, and then, you know, at the end of every man mode video, he asks if the thing he's watching or covering in the video is man mode.
So is it man mode?
Yes.
Yes.
But he has like an accent, so it's like, is Kill la Kill man mode? Yes.
What is there to say about Kill la Kill that hasn't been said already in like some way or another?
Yeah.
Nothing really.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. Did you like Gurren Lagann? You'll probably like this.
Did it save anime?
I didn't see like. So leading up to Kill la Kill, right?
Yeah.
All we had was like the visual of like the silhouette of Ryuko with the sword or whatever, and like a brief synopsis of it being like about her transforming and blah blah blah. So like,
yeah,
we kind of knew it was a magical girl show, but like we didn't really know much about it.
Kind of.
I remember leading up to it, I was like, maybe this will be like the foil of, you know, how Gurren Lagann is to
Evangelion.
Neon
This
Genesis
is like
Evangelion.
Kill la Kill
Hopefully,
is to
maybe-
Madoka.
Yeah, I was like, maybe this will be like a hype ass magical girl show. And I was hoping, and I was really looking forward to it, leading up to it. And I was like, let's see how it goes. And then I was like, oh, this is the Gurren Lagann to
This is just Gurren Lagann.
Utena.
Yeah,
This is just Gurren Lagann to Utena, not to Madoka.
which that's not. Yeah, that's not a bad thing.
No,
I mean, I do like the fact that the student council are fascists. You know, that is indeed one of my favorite motifs. Is just student council equals fascism.
I will say if Non were part of my student council, I'd bash the fash.
It's one of those things where it's like, it's just so hard to not compare it to Gurren Lagann in my mind because it's so similar.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I never like. Maybe it's because I watched it week to week,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't get the same feeling out of Kill la Kill as I did from Gurren Lagann.
I would say Gurren
I
Lagann.
mean, I don't know. I don't think it's. I think the influences Kill la Kill's pulling from, right, is a lot of the like the Sukeban Deka and like kind
Yeah.
of the delinquent style of like the 80s especially, that you don't really get from Gurren Lagann. So I think in that sense, if you sort of look at it from that angle, you can find something a bit more fresh.
My thing I think is with it is I think Gurren Lagann's second half is much stronger than Kill la Kill's second half. In part being informed by the fact I don't think Ragyo is a very interesting villain.
Yeah.
And I
agree.
think there's also just like some stupid stuff in like the second half of Kill la Kill, namely the shit that goes on with Ryuko just to like put Ryuko in Satsuki's uniform and Satsuki in Ryuko's uniform.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
I had fun with it, but it didn't like leave the impact or anywhere near the impact
Like the
that-
emotional impact of Gurren Lagann.
Yeah, even on like a superficial level, like just watching it as like, turning your brain off, just going with the flow of the emotion pathos. Like it
doesn't hit
do
as high of
anything.
I don't think it hits as high of a mark as Gurren Lagann.
No,
with that,
which I think also was like a detriment to the show as I was watching it, because like you do start kind of comparing it to Gurren Lagann, and it's not a favorable comparison to me. So
in some ways, I think it is. Like I vastly prefer the student council in Kill la Kill to like the four Beastmen generals in Gurren Lagann.
Yeah. Well, they're not really even hardly characters.
They're not really characters. I think.
Yeah, I always thought the villains in Gurren Lagann, a number of them were kind of weak. Like
Kill la Kill has like some more interesting set pieces in that first half.
Yeah.
In fact, the Gurren Lagann, the first half isn't quite as like with Kill la Kill. The first few episodes, especially, just come in guns blazing when you get like the episode 2, which I believe is the aim for the ace like tennis episode.
Yeah.
Or episode 4, where they're just like on the way to school.
Yeah, there's like boxing and stuff. All these like different ideas. Whereas like Gurren Lagann, I think there's something like even like Beatrice talked about in like a video she made comparing them, where it's like Kill la Kill has like all these different ideas going on at the same time, whereas Gurren Lagann is much more focused. It's like, here's the idea, and we are going to, no pun intended, drill deep into that idea.
I think I remember Beatrice's analogy being like Gurren Lagann is like a drill, which is like taking these wider concepts and like bringing them to a point, whereas Kill la Kill's like more of a tapestry or a fabric.
That's an all right kind of
I will say I did like
thematically.
the scene in O Edo Rocket where Kazuki Nakashima drills from the floor to like to introduce himself as like the main screenwriter, and he's wearing like a Kamina jacket.
I'll put it this way, all right. Gurren Lagann is Technolize. Kill la Kill, that's Serial Experiments Lane.
What the fuck are you talking
Well,
about?
Zen knows what I'm talking about.
What's Imaishi and Nakashima's equivalent to Rewrite?
Promare?
Oh, that's a little mean to Promare.
I don't know. They've really taken a massive L. Yeah, that's Kill la Kill.
I will say I like on a visual level, I prefer Kill la Kill like stylistically to Gurren Lagann.
Yes,
Like
Kill la Kill
Gurren
is a little
Lagann
bit more...
is like it's better animated, like production wise.
We'll ignore the one episode.
Ignoring that episode.
Don't be hating on my man Osamu Kobayashi.
It's a fine episode, but I think Kill la Kill like storyboarding wise has some more like interesting gags. Even just going into like that first episode, where you have Gamagori just coming through the door, and he's like the size of the room. You don't really get stuff like that in Gurren Lagann. Instead, you just
They also do the panty and stocking shot, don't they, with the classroom?
Yes. I mean, Gurren Lagann, you get stuff like the really long sword, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Gurren Lagann's just kind of more, I want to say like standard, like of its time in a way.
A little bit. I mean, it's very well animated.
Right. I mean, like
the standard back then was pretty good. Generally, there were some crazy shows that like really went off the rails in terms of production, but like the standard for 2007 anime, there were a lot of good looking.
But if you take Imaishi's like work and you kind of put it on a spectrum, something like Kill la Kill is much closer to Dead Leaves than Gurren Lagann is.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'd say Gurren Lagann, to me, the hype of it feels a lot more controlled, where it's like it's very relegated to certain like big moments.
Yeah.
Kill la Kill, to me, like I said, it comes out guns blazing.
Yeah.
With
I don't. Okay. So for like
scenes.
Dead Leaves, I don't think it's necessarily like Dead Leaf is a very bombast kind of show, but it's pretty constrained as far as like its style, right? Because like it achieves its like over the topness through like its just kind of crazy visuals of animation, but it's not like experimenting with that animation really. Like you don't have like a tweening or something that like
I see
a
what you
Kill
mean.
does.
Kind of like, where it kind of like varies that style up.
Right. Like I would when you say like it's closer to Kill la Kill, I'm thinking of like that, and I'm like, I
Okay.
don't know. I kind of see more like it being kind of closer to Gurren Lagann. Like obviously, Dead Leaves is much like it leans much more into Imaishi's style than Gurren Lagann does. Gurren Lagann, like as I said, Gurren Lagann, like production wise, like as a style, is very much of its time, like kind of more.
Well, you also have to keep in mind that Gurren Lagann is Gainax, Kill la Kill is Trigger,
right?
Dead Leaves is IG, so.
But what I think of like with Kill la Kill that I really like appreciate is like the shot composition and like background work is really, really good.
Absolutely.
Like, there was very few moments in Gurren Lagann that stood out to me background wise. Like it did like very much consistently in Kill la Kill.
Yeah. Like the background art itself.
Right.
Right. Okay.
I don't necessarily think that translates to it being a better show or anything.
No, I would say Cyberpunk has better backgrounds than either of those.
Also, I can't help but ask, why were people losing their mind at the clip art gags?
Because they were like, so the mentality, like the prevailing thought was like, oh, they ran out of budget. This is just like, it looks really cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are stupid.
It's a matter of expectations, really.
Yeah.
Not a fan of animatism, huh?
Well, you're watching like the newest Imaishi, the guy behind Gurren Lagann and Dead Leaves, and then they do like a really cheap.
Also had like animatism gags as well.
Yeah, they do a gag where it's like not really like it's the character animation isn't there. It's not moving. Well, it is moving. The character drawing is not.
I guess it just like takes them out of it, or it did take them out of it because they just weren't expecting it, and then like since it stands out to them, they're not necessarily taking the moment to like appreciate what it's doing. It's just like that moment of jarringness that takes them out of it. They're just like, ugh.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah.
I think it's really interesting, actually, especially like how Rui moves, right? Where like she's just like pure. She's almost like a Paper Mario character at times.
Yeah. She's like breaking like the like they'll do like split screens and then she just reaches across the split screen.
Her arms pop off.
Yeah, stuff like that's really cool.
She almost had that paper animation we were talking about.
Yeah,
Violence Voyager.
Yeah.
I mean that's obviously coming from stuff like Inferno Cop.
Yeah. I do think Kill la Kill is like a nice like evolution of like Imaishi style.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would directly compare it to anything specific.
You haven't seen Promare yet, have you?
I have not. I've not seen Promare yet.
You get trying Promare. Promare is like, I don't know, I think it's like fairly different, fairly unique stylistically for a lot of his stuff. Even comparing it to Cyberpunk.
I don't know what it is about movies. Like I just never get around to them.
No,
like
I
wanted to watch
the same way.
I wanted to watch Expelled from Paradise like back in 2013, and I just never got around to it.
I'll put that on.
Same with like Aura.
I mean, I will say for what it's worth, this conversation reminded me actually a lot of what I liked about Kill la Kill, honestly.
Yeah, it's a good show. Really like it.
It is fun. It is a bit repetitive though. Like it does kind of return to the status quo at a point, which I can't criticize Kill la Kill for it without being a bit hypocritical because I do that in Utena too.
No.
But I mean, it is what it is. Your feelings are what they are. Just gotta.
I'm a hypocrite. I accept it.
I just put it out there.
The real question though, Ryoko's boobs or Satsuki's ass?
I like Ryuko more, but I'm more of an ass guy, so this is a very weird question.
I see. It's a real dilemma for you. It's kind of a toss-up for both of them, honestly.
Yeah. I also like Ryuko more because she has to find out who killed her dad.
The lyrics of this fucking songs. Blumenkranz is really good though. Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. It was a joke between us, like how like on the nose the lyrics are.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like a musical or something. Like that's the big musical number where like Ryuko, she's like singing, "I gotta find." Maybe when they do Kill La Kill on Broadway or something, they can have like,
Kill La Kill on Broadway.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it'll be an all ages performance though.
Is there anything else you want to talk about? We haven't talked about.
I wanted to talk about. All right, did any of y'all's watch Strike the Blood?
I watched the first episode and it was not something I was interested in, so
because I think it's interesting because the show is actually a full adaptation because they've continued adapting the work in OVA format and they finished it last year.
It's such a fucking weird thing that went on. How many episodes did it end up being in total?
Yeah, I have no idea. Because the first show was 24, and then they just kept making more OVAs like over the years.
I mean, but you gotta respect the dedication to it that they would do that, even though I don't know how well it sold.
Yeah, I also don't know why No Senpai This Is Our Fight became a meme. I don't really have context for that one.
Well, Strike the Blood also had that other gif that was a meme, where like the girl's on the ground and he's like whispering in her ear and she's like, "Your favorite anime is shit" or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot that was from Strike the Blood. But the big reason I wanted to bring the Strike the Blood up is because I don't know if any of y'all's played a Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax.
No, I've heard of it.
Yeah, I got that for Christmas the year it came out. And it was a very exciting game for me because I didn't know anything about Dengeki Bunko other than SAO and Durarara back when I had played it.
Yeah.
And now it'll be exciting for me to go back now that I know actually a good number of these series.
Hell yeah.
Also, I had said last time we recorded that Red Data Girl was part of Kadokawa Bunsho's 65th anniversary. It's not Bunsho, it's Bunko. I misread the kanji.
I don't know how I'm gonna edit that in, but I'll
well, whatever the case.
I'll figure it out.
Now saying Dengeki Bunko, it'll look kind of weird. And I wasn't gonna say Dengeki Bunsho and get it wrong twice. Okay, so it's Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax. For me, like my favorite characters to play as, I just like any character with a sword. So Shauna, Taiga, Kirito, Asuna.
You're the dark or whatever the black swordsman.
Yeah, no, I just like sword characters in these kinds of games because I like swords. I also like Kirino from Oreimo. She has a really fun move set where she you can do a combo where she just throws a basketball in the hoop. It's like a very wacky move set.
Did we talk about Golden Time?
We talked about both Golden Times, yeah.
Okay. Did we talk about?
I didn't really say much about the TV series Golden Time, but
I don't think we had much to talk about the TV series Golden Time.
Yeah, and more to say.
Well, I just want to say I do really like tulpas. Also, it was really weird in Golden Time that Nana from the manga Nana was in it.
Yeah.
Why was she in it?
Wait, really?
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, she's in it. She's like a supporting character in it, actually.
But I forget Kuroki the black-haired Nana. I can't remember what her nickname is at the minute. You have Hachi and you have or does she just go by Nana?
Yeah, I thought she just goes by Nana.
I swear there was a nickname she had. Anyway, she's in it. Yeah, she's just the neighbor. In Golden Time.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, she also performs too.
Yeah, it's just her. She's just chilling.
But the whole thing with Golden Time, that felt like a fever dream to me because it would have some of the wackiest plot points. I get the Tulpa stuff, but they're kidnapped by a cult early on.
Oh, it's a romance written by that one fucking loser that wrote that one shitty romance, Toradora.
Kill yourself. Kill yourself right now. And you're
I don't know, because Toradora had a very clear structure to it. Some of this I suspect was on the adaptation, but like it felt a little all over the place by comparison. Uh, there was one part with Golden Time that I remember kind of frustrating me because I felt like they kind of blamed Bonri for like his trauma at one point.
Taliban?
And I just felt like they were being kind of mean to him because they were like, oh, go after Coco, do this. And it was like, I mean, he's going through his own episode here. Like, why are you friggin' yelling at him?
Yeah. Coco was fun. I mean, you had like the shit of like her coming to his house to like cook him food, and she's just like reheating some shit she bought and like trying to trick him.
No, I actually didn't mind the two main leads. The supporting cast I wasn't really into, honestly.
I like Chinami okay. She was kind of cute.
I don't know. Golden Time to me, there was also like the flashback with the accident, right?
Yeah,
That I remember just being kind of undercooked.
The whole plot element with like him being a ghost in his own life was kind of undercooked. Didn't really pay off.
Well, he interacts with the ghost at the end of the show, and they become like best bros.
Yeah, but it's just like I don't know. They didn't really explore I don't think it explored it all that well. It was like whatever.
I do like the part at the end where the ghost Bonri is talking to real Bonri, and he's like, "Dude, you forgot this." And he's like, "Thanks, bro." That part's pretty cool.
Thanks, bro.
Well, he didn't say that, but that was the kind of the vibe it gave off to me.
That's probably how they translated it. That was how it was in the dub. It was like, "Thanks, bro." Poseidon.
There was a dub for Golden Time.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't follow any of that stuff anymore, so I actually don't know it gets dubbed. Oh, there was a dub for Golden Time, huh?
Yeah, I'm certain it was a fairly popular show.
Oh,
If you didn't say Poseidon, King of the Broshin, the dub should just be burned in a house fire.
I'm not a fan of creating lost media, but
I mean, nothing of value is lost.
Some things must be lost to history.
Who are you, Jay Sherman?
You want to talk about Shashinkan?
Yeah.
What do you have to say about Shashinkan that you adequately prepared for us a week in advance?
So, we watched this in our weekly group watch. I think it was like a randomizer group watch night, which tends to be notoriously shit. This is like the last thing we watched, and I went in, basically no expectations. Didn't really know what the fuck it was about because this was randomly picked out for us. And yeah, I really liked it. It's fucking great. I like, it's just like on the surface, it's of course just like a nice sort of like little story about this girl growing up, becoming a woman, old woman, and sort of like the people entering and exiting her life, and how that is sort of captured by photograph. But then I think there's like an interesting element to that as well, where fundamentally what a photograph is, it's capturing a moment in time essentially. So that plays in really well with not only the main girl getting older as the short film plays out, but also just the way society is changing around her as the short film goes on. So you just sort of have so I think it's a very interesting sort of narrative device to sort of have that based around photography and the development of photography through history and the sort of role it plays, and not just technologically, but also socially. Because, she of course loses her husband and her son over the course of World War II. And they're sort of then immortalized in the photographs that are taken by the other principal character in the short film, who is the photographer. And I don't know how fucking old the photographer is at the start of the movie, but he's alive by the end somehow.
I think he's immortal.
Oh, I see. Well, you also have the interesting aspect where the photography studio itself after like the fire bombings. I don't know where this takes place. Is it in Kyoto? I don't remember.
know. I don't think they say.
They might not say.
There's probably
but
like landmarks and stuff that people would recognize.
yeah. But after the city that it's in is leveled, it's like the only building left standing, which again is sort of plays into the almost like immortality or lack of temporality to photography, because you have this old building, everything around it is destroyed, and then you have these new buildings being built up around it, but it's kind of just staying the same in time. So it has all these sorts of interesting elements to it, based around this idea of photography, placed into the context of what I think is just a very cute story about a girl who doesn't smile in pictures.
That was pretty cute.
Yeah,
it's gorgeously animated. There's no words in it.
Don't need subtitles.
Don't need subtitles.
No, you do. There's still a lot of text on screen you probably want to read.
I guess. Yeah, I really like it. How long is it? It's less than 20 minutes. Go watch it.
Yeah, it's on
what are you
YouTube.
doing?
I think that it's not subbed in English on YouTube, so like I said, you might want to
YouTube quality is also kind of get an HD copy if you can.
Yeah, you might want to get one with subs anyway, just to read the text on screen, because it does add like some additional context to what's going on. I think you can still follow what's going on from the visuals, but you miss a couple of things.
Yeah, you probably went into it no expectations because you didn't look at the director and see he did like Fantastic Children and Palm Nook, like Tree of Palm.
I only watched it because of the director.
No, really? Well, this has happened with me a couple times. One with a Japanese boy who draws, which that happened with you as well, Mumi, where we were just needing something to put on at the end of the night because we didn't want to watch. I think we didn't want to watch They Were 11 because it was just too fucking long. It was like an hour and a half and it was already 9:30 and we're like, fuck that.
Yeah.
So I just needed like something that was like less than 30 minutes to put on. And we just watched a Japanese boy who draws, and that was fantastic. But it also happened to me with Spring and Chaos, where that was like a roulette thing in another server that got recommended to me. And I just needed to watch something in order to stay in the roulette. And this was the shortest thing that was recommended to me, so I just put it on, and it was also fantastic.
And you're like, damn, why did I not watch this before?
Why did I not watch
why
this
did I
earlier?
put off this recommendation? What the fuck's wrong with me?
The funny thing, I don't think I've seen any other of those roulette recommendations, and it's been like over a year now. I'm really behind.
Imagine how many other Spring of Chaoses there could be in those recommendations, and you just keep pushing them off.
I just keep putting them off because I'm a fucking idiot. Yeah.
That just means, more exciting stuff to get through at some point.
Oh, did y'all watch Pokemon The Origin? The Origi?
No. Was that a movie or was that a short series?
It was like a 4
thing,
episode
right?
special, yeah.
Okay. I've not seen that. I've seen like other Pokemon like special series like that, and they tend to be pretty solid.
Well, it's basically just like an anime adaptation, like a bridged version of Pokemon Red and Blue. And they kind of changed the ending a bit to tie it into to kind of hype up Pokemon X and Y.
Okay.
It was a really solid like nostalgia trip essentially. Because like adapts.
Well, that's what a lot of them tend to be.
Well, it's like a straight up adaptation of the game. So there's like little references here and there. Like there's a whole reference to like the lady in the Pokemon Tower who's like, oh, there's a hand on your shoulder or whatever. Or she was in the Pokemon Center, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's like, oh, there's a hand on your shoulder. Like there's a reference to that. So there's like little things here and there that you can kind of like pick up on if you're familiar with the games.
Do they go behind Bill's house in the Pokemon The Origin?
They do not.
No.
He does not. He does not throw Pikachu into the whirlpool and get Pika-Blue.
In general, yeah, just check out like the Pokemon anthology specials, if you haven't.
Yeah, the Origin was.
There's one airing like right
fun,
now, or it was airing a while back. I forget what it was, but it had like a Gengar. It had like a ghost school.
Oh, you're
episode.
talking about you're talking about the short.
It's like a
that,
web series, I think.
Yeah, the one that Gil and Jaden watched for their.
Yeah. That one. Yeah, that one's really good as well.
Yeah. So I guess like, is there any other ones? Any other?
Yeah, if any of y'all's...
Do you want to talk
any of
about?
y'all's...
Do you want to talk about the Hoseki no Kuni PV?
Well, I haven't. I've. I feel like I've watched it, but I don't remember it.
Watch it right now.
I watched it before the show was announced.
Minute and a half.
Yeah, I didn't really think much of it, honestly.
Well, it's interesting because
it.
it's an announcement PV for the anime, but it's all in 2D. And of course, if you've seen Hoseki no Kuni,
we became
CG.
Hoseki, or like gems. Oh man, that goes too fast. I can't read it. No, how is anyone supposed to read that fast?
It does look really good, though.
It does. That doesn't say that. I also really love how Hoseki no Kuni, just the TV anime itself looks, and the manga looks fantastic.
Really, this is more like faithful to the manga.
Well, technically, because it's
Shinshia.
2D.
Well, it's more like expressive in that same way as the manga.
To an extent, it doesn't have the like framing of the manga, really.
Yeah, it's not like it's perfect.
Yeah, the manga also suffers from struggling to tell like characters apart sometimes. It's good that they're color coded in the anime. God, I hope we get a season 2 someday.
No.
I really did like Hoseki no Kuni.
Have you read any of the manga?
I have not.
I really love where people talk about how it gets like all fucked up and horrific and shit, and it's just kind of missells the joy of so much that happens after where the anime ends. And there are like you know dark things as well, like in the first season of the anime, but people only seem to latch on and focus on that. And it's like even without spoiling anything, even where the story is at now, which is fucking bizarro land, it still has like a charm to it, a sort of positivity that I really like.
It is definitely like an interesting, like the preview of it. This is like interesting to like compare to what we got.
Yeah,
because like
what could have been. Well, because it's interesting because from what I understand, Studio Orange was kind of always meant to be a predominantly 3D CG studio. So it's interesting that this announcement PV, which came out, keep in mind, 4 years before the anime itself, the TV anime was released, is in 2D.
Yeah.
Just mark that as completed.
God damn it. Is there any other ones we want to talk about?
Yeah, Mumi, you wanted to talk about Gengitsune, right?
Oh, Gengitsune. Did
either of you watch Saint Onisan?
I did not watch Saint Onisan.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say about Saint Onisan, except that every time I bring up Buten Monogatari, people think I'm talking about Saint Onisan. There's room for more than one Buddha anime, is all I'm saying.
I'll say Gengitsune makes me appreciate Anime Elf more.
Elaborate.
I will not. I don't know. It was just like, it was fine. It was, I mean, I didn't really like the show all that much. I find it kind of weird, but it's a very similar premise to Anime Elf, where you have like, instead of the elves, they're just like burra furries living in different areas and shit.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Yeah, I really like that one girl in Gengitsune who's like all spunky, and she's in a relationship with like the delinquent looking dude, and she like pushes him around a lot. She's really cool. What's her name? I think her name's Yumi.
Yeah, the character designs are
liked
pretty
her
cute.
Character. Yeah.
Can't except for the wolf people. I'm not a Discord dev.
Well said. I mean, for me, with Gengitsune kind of ended up, a lot of my memory of it kind of, it released at a bit of an unfortunate time because a season later was a similar kind of show with Inari Konkon Koi Iroha. And honestly, I think that show's much more interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Highly agree.
Whereas Gengitsune doesn't, like, the conflicts are more laid back, whereas Inari Konkon kind of gets more dramatic in a bit of a bigger way, and I think it kind of gets you into the main character a lot more easily. But that's how I felt, because I had watched them pretty close together, if I recall correctly. If not, then I'm wrong. But
Well, they did air like fall.
I
and
didn't
then
watch
winter.
either of them when they aired.
God damn it! God damn it!
I watched them in like 2018 or something.
I watched them fall and then winter. That was my experience.
What?
Well, I think we covered basically.
No, we haven't. There's still one more show I want to cover.
Oh, what's that show?
No one's thought to talk about Tessugure Bukatsumono, huh?
Oh, that one. The CGI.
Yeah, amazing series. So the history, right? So there's this studio called Bouncy, and Yazuru is another one of them. And they produce shows made using the Miku Miku dance program in these short series, and they were essentially improv series, right? Where there's the scripted segment, and then there's the segment of the improv where the voice actors kind of just improvise, the lines, hence improv, right? And so the premise of Tetsugure Bukatsumono is that they formed this club, and they don't know what club to join. So they just like come up with ideas for different new clubs, and every episode it kind of revolves around a different club that they're kind of coming up with like new ideas for. And so the whole show is kind of playing with the different like tropes and commonalities you find in these kinds of series. The opening, for example, is actually just a literal opening. Like the lyrics just are explaining everything that's going on screen. So they're like, oh, the logo goes in with a duh. The camera zooms in. We're grasping, we're running, stuff like that. And the cast has like all of their unique traits. So there's Yua, who's like the club leader. There's Hina, who's the more calm kind of character. She tries to act like more mature. Aoi is like the spunky kind of character who loves to make puns, and then Koharu is like the first year, the newbie that they take in, and a lot of times they kind of just make fun of her. And so there's a lot of funny moments in the show. For example, there's this one character, so it's usually just those main four characters, but there's one other character that shows up when they need like an extra, because at the end of the episodes, a lot of times they like try to actually apply to real life their ideas in the gymnasium, where it's like, all right, we're going to do this club now. And so they invite Mobuko, who has like a bunch of like sisters who are like, they're like whatever tuplets, like a bunch of them. And so in the credits, right, so that character is voiced by Reina Ueda, and in the credits they credit every single one of her siblings. So it's like 12 credits of essentially the same character. So it's stuff like that. It's stuff like there was a clip that kind of went big on Nico Video of like a Donchiki scene where like they're making fun of the way Koharu like does like a drum noise. And there's like one of her going like Donchiki 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 for like 5 or 6 hours straight. I think it just endlessly loops. And so there were 3 seasons of this. The first 2 seasons are like half-length episodes, right? But the third season is a half hour, and it's a collaboration with like some random manga that never got any kind of other anime. The closest thing to an anime it's gotten is this collab with Tesugure Bukatsumono. And so the the third season is a bit polarizing. I actually like it the most, probably just because it's a half hour at Tesugure Bukatsumono, and they do wacky stuff, like they play like Among Us and stuff like that. It's pretty great.
Wait, what?
Well, not really. It's I think it's just like what is it, like the Rail Tracer game or something, or is it?
Rail Tracer.
It's a game like that, essentially.
The Rail Tracer.
The Rail Tracer. But yeah, they I think the best part of the show to me generally though is the improv stuff, where the cast like tries really hard not to break character. But then they just start to lose it. There's a scene on YouTube, like Hina gets angry. That one is really good, where like Hina keeps trying to like make this pun, but like they're just like misinterpreting it the entire time, and she's getting like really frustrated. And you can hear like a YouTube comment mentioned, like you can hear like the slamming on the table. It's like listening to a podcast or something like that, but with animation. There's another episode where like they couldn't get the animation done on time, so they like play it up as a gag that like some parts of the episode just aren't animated.
Is this the same studio that did that was it Mirai Diva?
It might have been.
That one that's like the live action. Well, it's not live action. Sorry, it's like the first like live, quote unquote, live anime where they would like read tweets on screen if you tweet at them live.
Yeah. It is the same studio. And I believe it's the same director as well. I don't know much about that one. Tesabu there's a lot of these improv shows. I think Tesabu is kind of the strongest one. Like it has a lot of the funniest moments of these that I've seen. Also, it's interesting because the one of the studios, right, Yao Yorozu, is also known for Kimono Friends, and Tatsuki, the director of Kimono Friends and Kemuri Kusa, was the animation director on Tesugure Bukatsumono.
That kind of makes sense. Yeah, I can see
So
that.
it all comes together in this big soup.
So then what are your thoughts on GD Fairies?
Oh, GDD Gouda Gouda Fairies is awesome. I love that one, actually. That one's a lot of fun too. That one is fun because like they'll like be given like a clip of like some like wacky mixed media animation, not media mixed media animation, and they'll like dub over it and try to come up with like that show is just a trip because like Tesugure Bukatsumono, the aesthetic of it is like this just like this weird school that feels like really empty, and it's really just these characters, and everyone else feels like just this dead NPC that's kind of programmed to act a certain way.
Sure.
Like the guy doesn't notice, like you can confess your love to like any guy in the school and he'll just pretend to not hear it. Stuff like that. Whereas GD Fairies, Gouda Gouda Fairies, it's just like it's a world that's like it's like a bunch of things like come together that look like they shouldn't. I would say is the best way of putting it, because it looks like kind of like a fairy forest, kind of like Fairy Forest 5, which got like made fun of in 2017. But Gouda Gouda came before it. But like, like you have the mushroom girl and you have the fairy girl, kind of like that aesthetic. But it mixes it with like these CG models that like shouldn't belong to the world they're attached to. So everything feels off in that sense. Whereas Tesugure, it feels like consistent with the world feels consistent in a way, but it also feels like really just empty and weird and off in like its own way. And I really like that atmosphere to it. Yeah, it's a really good show. Also, Did you ever talk about Non Biyori?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Oh, okay.
Did we talk about that?
Really, certain we did.
Because that was one I didn't think we talked about, but
Maybe we didn't talk about Non Biyori.
well,
Try to remember if we did or not. I don't know if we did.
Talk about it now. I can just edit it together.
I think Non Biyori. It's not quite my anime of the year. I guess Monogatari's second season, but it's pretty high up there for me. That was kind of a surprise. Like I wasn't expecting to like that one as much as I did. Like Silverlink didn't really have that much of a track record for me at the time, and then obviously they just came off of Watamote, which didn't look great. Watamote and Prism Ilia. So it was like, oh, I'll try it out. And then it ended up being really cute. And I was like, oh, and then like I remember the gag. It was the gag with the Tanuki where she like summons him and she's like, do a trick, and he just stands there. That was like the part where I was like, okay, this is gonna be a pretty good show. I get the feeling this will be a pretty good show.
And it was.
It was great. Like having been, which I haven't spent a significant amount of time in like the Inaka in Japan. But like having been there,
that means countryside.
Yeah, then the countryside of Japan.
Translation note here
for you Baka Gaijin. But yeah, I haven't spent much time out in like the actual true. I mean, I've been to the more rural part, but I haven't spent a significant amount of time in like the just pure true Inaka where they like only have like a village of 20 people or something, you know. But from what like I've seen, like it captures it pretty well as far as like that kind of weird. Like I kind of experienced it here living in Texas too, where it's like you kind of have that weird like contrast of like technology, but you're still out in the middle of like the country, in the middle of nowhere. But you have like cell phones, you have like access to like a big city, and you just like, you know, it's a story, but like it's still there. Like it's like, oh, I went on the Shinkansen or whatever in the show.
I feel like the transit in Non Biyori is actually better than the transit in most places in America.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So for context, like the Inaka of Japan is still like probably not much further than the suburbs of like most areas of the United States that kind of are bordering like the more rural parts. Because I mean, you can still get around pretty easily compared to like if you live in the middle of hill country or something in Texas, you'd have to like hike if you got stuck somewhere. But it does have like that weird kind of, I don't know, there's like this kind of unspoken thing with it, because like a lot of the Naka in like Japan have become kind of empty because so many like kids will move to like Tokyo, or like these more major city centers to like get away from the country and be more like with the increasing technology and all that of like you get when you go to Tokyo, or even like Nagoya or Kyoto, whatever. So they have kind of an issue of like people leaving. And it's not just like exclusive like a Japanese thing. Like they do it, a lot of places in the world where kids don't really feel like they have a future in their hometown, and so they just move to a city. And so it's like kind of this weird like loneliness to it in a way, or it kind of adds like this kind of somber melancholy where like you just have like these few kids that are like just there in this empty kind of village because so many people have kind of like left. Obviously that's not something that's directly addressed in the show. It's not like they're like, oh yeah, we're empty because 20 families over the last 5 years just moved to Tokyo or something. But like that's just kind of like a thing kind of ever present with the countryside, especially in Japan, because it's not like Japan is like full of land. I mean, they've got a lot of land, but it's not like you got a lot of people concentrated in Tokyo. So it's not like they need the land still, but the fact that have so much, like they have these like pockets where like so many people, like so few people live in like this large
people live like on like the flat areas around the coastline. The instant you start getting into the mountains, it's like civilization kind of stops.
Yeah. It is a very interesting kind of like contrast that kind of provides like a very unique atmosphere where like you kind of get like that kind of fun, cute, down to earth kind of vibe of, these kids just like enjoying nature in a way that you don't necessarily see all the time anymore. But it's contrasted with like that kind of, the fact that they are one of the few kids that are in this town. And even like you see it with Renge's sister, she's already going to school in Tokyo. And that's just kind of like a everyday kind of occurrence going on there. I think that those sort of things are kind of what elevates slice of life for me generally. That's the kind of thing I think about while I'm watching slice of life, because like in the moment you're able to enjoy it, but like there's these things that are kind of happening beneath the surface that you can kind of pick up on or even just kind of ruminate on, because it is kind of a slower show. And so you're able to pick up on things and take things and kind of fill things out for yourself. I'm doing that a lot this season with Edome Elf to date when this podcast is being recorded and when it goes up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of how I like to enjoy like slice of life. So I got a lot out of Non Biyori.
I just like Hotarun's like unhealthy obsession with Komari.
Fair. It is quite unhealthy.
I think that was that in the most recent season, Nonstop, where she like puts the doll on the freaking robot toy and it just starts like moving all around town.
Yes.
And she has to like go find it.
Yeah, that was in the most recent season.
Yeah. Everybody will bring up though with Non Biyori the one episode where Renge makes a friend, right? And then the friend moves away at the end of the episode. But no one mentions the payoff to that in Vacation, right? Because in Vacation Renge kind of pays it forward, right?
You kind of get that again with in the later season, like I think in season 2, where like the other girl moves in and she like becomes like her big sister in a way, because she's a little bit younger than her. Or was that in season 3? I think it was season 2 that was introduced. It is an interesting thing about Non Biyori, how like there's like a kind of a set point, like end point in a way, where like each season they make doesn't actually really go past a certain point. They just keep going back and filling in like plot points and dates and stuff that would have happened during the events of like the first season, but they didn't adapt. Like it's not like season 2 is a continuation of Vacation.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the title, repeat.
Yeah, repeat, and then nonstop. It just keeps repeating. Maybe they're in purgatory.
Well,
it's the endless every day at work.
I think nonstop goes a bit further, doesn't it?
It might go a little bit. Yeah, it might reference stuff that happened after Vacation. I just think that's an interesting kind of way. I don't know many anime that kind of do that. I mean, there's a few.
I mean, I guess like Hidamari Sketch, right, would come close where
it's
like
Hidamari Sketch is similar to that. I can't think of another offhand though. That would be the main one I would think of.
Yeah.
But yeah, Non Biyori didn't make my anime of the year for 2013, but it would make it for 2015.
Would it make your anime of the season for fall 2013?
Yes. Yeah, it would be my anime.
Really,
season.
above Kill la Kill.
Above Kill la Kill, yeah. I really enjoyed Non Biyori.
Really, you put it above Miss Monochrome?
It was a tough deliberation, but yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's high praise. I gotta say.
Well, since we talked about everything we've watched, is there anything that we haven't watched from 2013 that maybe we talked about that got you interested, you want to watch it, or that you've intended to watch and just never got around to it? Is there anything like from that year, we'll say?
I like how you're saying that like you're about to follow it up with leave a comment below.
Leave a comment below if you haven't seen what we talked about and you want to watch it.
I mean, one day I hope to not be scared enough, to finish Yami Shibai, excuse me. Because I did find that first
Theater of the
episode a little
Gods.
too scary. Like, I know people find it funny and all, but I thought that first episode was genuinely pretty scary.
So I would like to go back and rewatch Data Live. Obviously, finish Log Horizon. Excuse me. I got to check out Non Biyori, Tamako Market, Maoyu. Wind Rises, of course. That's already on the plan to watch.
Yeah, you got quite a bit that you could.
Yeah,
seen.
White Album 2.
Yeah. That Buddha one you showed
Samurai
was pretty
Sam
cool looking.
Flam. Yeah. Burning Buddha, man. It might be too scary for you.
Also, I gotta watch
That's
Teen
the only
Moza
reason.
because Mumi was really shocked I haven't seen it yet.
What? Unless you down, I gotta watch it now.
Well, I mean, that's reason enough. Whenever people do that, it's like, oh no, man. Well, I don't want to let anyone down, but it's servant service for sure.
I'll say
Let's see.
one that we didn't really. I've seen the first OVA, but it had a sequel TV series that aired in 2013. Would be Tamayura. I do really want to watch those because they are generally held in pretty high regard for people that do watch it. It is, a lot of the same staff as Aria. It is
here.
Yeah. Tamayota is one of them who people who watch it are always like, too many people get filtered by the fact that they're too scared to watch something like Tamayota, and I take that as a bit of a challenge, honestly.
Wait, how are they scared to watch Tamayura? What?
Well, it's just like so many people like plan to watch it and then like not watch it because they're just too scared to take on an Yashike show like that.
I don't even know. It's weird because it's not like I'm like afraid to.
Well,
I've seen.
I wasn't saying that you specifically. It's people who watch Tamayota have told me that, like, oh, certain people, they don't pick up Tamayota because they're a little too scared to watch an Yashike show like that.
I don't understand. Like, I don't even know where that's coming from. Like, I feel like the people that are wanting to watch Tamayura probably have seen Yashike. That's probably why they want to watch it. I don't know if I've ever heard of like.
I'm scared of being healed. I don't want to be.
Well, yeah, they're
vulnerable.
like getting filtered, this and that.
I'm so confused.
Well, it's the same thing when you have like a long anime film or like any kind of long anime in general.
It's not
right?
long though.
Yeah, it's not that it's long. It's that it's like it starts with an OVA and things like that, and it's kind of slow moving, so they're a little scared. That's what I've been told anyway. It's like, oh, they think people are too scared to start up Tamayura.
Oh, it seems like some kind of weird, like antagonistic thing. Like, what are you afraid to watch?
What are you, a fucking pussy? Come on.
I've seen the first OVA, and like I liked it all right, but like it's slow, so it was only like 2 episodes, so like it didn't hook me, and then like I ended up not getting around to watching the second season or the first season, which was the sequel to the OVA, I guess. Oh, it's 4 episodes. Sorry.
This does kind of look like a horror anime, like one of those ones where it's like it kind of like you think it's gonna be cute, and then it's just like completely fucked up.
They just start dying.
It's like Higurashi, yeah.
Turns out, was it Peko? Is that what her name is? She's a fucking serial killer. She's taking pictures of her victims before she murders them.
what other show I wanted to check out was Maji de Otaku na English Ribbon-chan, right? That's kind of a famous one. By famous, I mean KYDB made a video on it, where it's like
very
it
famous.
teaches you otaku English.
I have seen that.
Did you learn more English from it?
No. So I watched it because it was a Magical Girl show, and it was called Ribbon-chan. And so I was like, maybe this is somewhat tangentially related to Hime-chan's Ribbon? Because it's a Magical Girl show named Ribbon-chan? I was very disappointed. No, it was just like whatever. It was just short. Or like
it's kind of like Moe-tan was a similar thing too, where that also had like English lessons at the end of the episode. I remember with Moe-tan, like there is one like English sentence where it was like, this show won't make my English better at all, or something like that.
Majestic Prince is another one I've been meaning to watch for fucking ever.
Yeah, same. Also Mushi Bugyo, just cause I like the opening.
The glasses one.
It's the one with the guy with the big sword.
Mushi
Bugyo.
Oh. I was thinking of Mega name, whatever the fuck.
Also, there's Arata Kangatari, it's from the author of Fushigi Yugi and Ayashi no Seres. I was always interested to see like what would be the 2010s like logical next step of such like old shoujo stories. Although I think Arata is a shonen manga.
Arata.
Also, there was this short show that's I'm apparently told is not very good, called Koroshia, The Hired Gun. And the reason I want to check that out is because Shabes would mention it all the freaking time back in the day. You'd always be like, oh yeah, you remember Koroshia, The Hired Gun?
No.
And like he would like freaking include that. He made like an anime music Sporkle quiz because we were making like Sporkle quizzes at the time. And he included the Koroshia-san one because he was like, no one's gonna remember Koroshia-san.
I wonder if he's still...
So, that's another one where I take that as a challenge.
I mean, you could literally... It's 3 minutes long episodes. There's only 10 of them. You could literally watch in 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't like watching shorts too much because then people accuse me of bloating my list. Okay, I'm not doing that.
Fair.
Rip.
Oh yeah, I have another Shabes story actually about Arpeggio of Blue Steel because Shabes, when we went to Kinokuniya together, we met up. Myself, Shabes, and his friend Butzer Rad, I believe.
I thought I was going an entirely different direction there for like a millisecond.
Yeah. So we met up, and Shabes was like, "Oh, I thought you were a bit taller," and I was like, "No." And then we were hanging out. We ate lunch there at the Kinokuniya, and we overheard the track from Arpeggio Blue Steel, and Shabes was like, "I really like this song." And that's the story.
That's the story?
I'm clapping.
Well, I feel like that's a good note to end it on.
I do.
Oh yeah, what's your anime of the year for this?
Shashinkan.
If we talk about just series, it's Monogatari's second season.
Just series, probably Kill la Kill.
If we talk about movies as well, probably Kaguya's Tail Princess Kaguya.
Yeah. For me, for talking TV series, it's every show I've spoken of highly here. Jijebu, Uchoten, C3Bu, Tesabu, a lot of boos. White Album 2, Outbreak Company, one of those. Pick whichever one you want.
One of those was not like the others.
Whichever one. Pick whatever one sounds like the one I would have as my favorite, and there you go. That's my anime of the year. My anime of the year for movies is either it's another one where it's just pick whatever one I thought highly of. So like I did like Aura a lot, but I don't know. I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared to revisit that one. If you guys rewatch it, don't invite me, please.
I'm gonna watch it for you.
Oh, I think I already set up a group watch for that Injustice. So.
Oh yeah.
All right, don't invite me, please. I would like to be spared. Wind Rises, of course, I think is of high quality. Kaguya is a good movie. I would not put it as my movie of the year, though.
You know what's interesting about you doing the group watch for Aura is we're gonna watch that probably long before this episode comes out, so you can put in the notes what we thought about it.
Also, wait, you'd put Kaguya Hime over Rebellion?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Well, Rebellion was like a fun movie, but like to me, like I said,
Kaguya kicks you in the dick with that ending.
Well, so does
It should
Rebellion.
be illegal to have an ending that sad with such happy music playing.
Rebellion doesn't really kick you in the dick so much as it just like grabs you by the dick with like bear claw and like twists it, rips it off. You're like, what the fuck?
So, in other words, between the two, it's definitely a lot easier to accept.
Yes. No, yeah. Like I said, I think the TV series just had like a perfect ending to me, so it was kind of like unnecessary, but like it was fun. I had fun. I liked it. All right. Was looking forward to more.
Well, we'll see how movie 4 maybe influences any further. How the third movie is perceived.
So I do want to for us to end it off. I do want to say
I'm going to kill myself.
no. I want to. What did we think of 2013? Since this whole thing's just been a retrospective of the year, we got to have like a whole like broad stroke of like what we thought of the year.
I think I'm looking over at my kitchen drawer. I think I'm going to take out a fork and shove it into the nearest socket.
Okay, look, this thing cannot end until
All right, so
it's 2013 forever.
I'd say I liked it more than I don't know 2010, but I didn't like it as much as 2012 or 2014 in terms of the titles that have come out. In terms of like what was going on in my life at the time, I'd say 2013 is a friggin' horrible year and should be banished.
That's kind of ominous. Damn. I think we talked about it a little bit in the Anime of the Year one, but 2013 was like, I think it's a good year, but it's not like a great year necessarily. Like I think 2011, 2012 were both really strong years. 2013 kind of dips. It didn't quite have like as many great shows as like the previous 2 years, and then it's sandwiched between 2012, 2011, and 2014. So it is kind of like the weakest of the four there for me. But it is much better, I think, than like 2015, 2018.
I would put it about on par with 2015. I definitely would say it's better than 2018, though.
I don't really have like a good way. I don't really think about stuff like this, so I don't really know how to like compare it, honestly.
Well,
that's probably the better way to look at it, honestly.
If you look at it as like, just on its own, like it has a good
based
amount
on
of
the stuff
variety.
I've seen, it's better than like, I don't know, 2011, 2012, 2014, but I also haven't seen anything from like 2011. Haven't really seen that much from 2012. Haven't really seen anything I love from 2012. The only thing I really loved from 2014 is Ping Pong. And then 2015 has like Death Parade and Pigtails. So really up until 2016, 2013 is a reigning champ.
Fair. You also
That's
haven't seen Mushishi season 2, have you?
No, I've not seen Mushishi season 1. 2010's pretty good year.
yeah. I can tell you that if we did like one on 2014, we would probably be here for like 8 hours.
Look forward to that.
Look forward to that next year. Look forward to that. The thumbnails are going to be me hanging from a noose.